Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight's guest is Wajid Hassan. He's the author of The Struggle for World Sanity. A Muslim-born yogi mystic reveals a practical solution to solve all problems facing humanity. Wow, that's a lot there. So you can imagine we have a lot to talk about. I heard him months ago on Heather Wade's show, and he had sent me a request to come on as a guest. I'm like, heck yeah. After hearing him on there, I know there's a lot to talk about. He had his own UFO experience, I believe, if I remember right. We talk about mysticism, reincarnation, all these topics we're going to get into tonight. It's going to be a paranormal soup. I know I had people asking, what's the show topic? I'm like, everything. That's how I feel. I want to get into everything because I missed being here last week. I am so sorry. Apologies to Joyce Isaacson. But everything got reset on my computer. Right now, I can't even record the audio for the show tonight. I'm going to have to go back and get it somehow later because my computer is like run out of memory. Rechanged all my hard drive settings for my sound card. I had to rebuild everything. This is even a different program I'm using for a webcam. Everything was just totally wiped. So I totally had to rebuild. So had to cancel. I apologize to everybody. It was a last-minute decision when everything didn't work. But this Wednesday, Rob and Jamie's show, Weird Wednesday at 11 p.m. Central Time, Joyce Isaacson is going to be joining them there. I hope I might be able to join them as well. I have to be up early on Thursdays, but I'm hoping I can join them on Wednesday night. If not, I'll be there in spirit, maybe a little bit in the chat room. But since we couldn't have Joyce on last Sunday, and I'm booked way into the 2021 already, she's going to be on Weird Wednesday because I want to see if they can reach the spirit of Tommy. So Joyce Isaacson this Wednesday on Weird Wednesday. All right, but our guest is Wajid Hassan, Struggle for World Sanity's book. We're going to be talking about that, many things. We'll have the phone lines open later in the show. And of course, we got a lot of weird to get to, and I hope Rob's going to be here because I just realized I can't even sync my Dropbox to have the World Wide Web of Weird, so I really need Rob here right now. Let's hope. All right, but let's go ahead and get into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. I am kind of waiting on Rob to get here because I don't think I can get my World Wide Web of Weird to work without him at the moment. I didn't realize this until right before I hit Let's Go Live, that my Dropbox won't sync because I am out of memory on this damn computer. That's been giving me hell. Giving me so much problems. Let me see, in case, because Rob isn't here yet, and I don't know if I can do a World Wide Web of Weird. See, I don't even know if this is the right stuff. It updated or not. Let me see what happens when I click on that. Well, that's part of the World Wide Web of Weird. I think it's going to be... Well, maybe I might be able to do it. Another app is controlling your sound right now. Listen, close. We don't need sound. Sorry, guys. I'm checking this out because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do the World Wide Web Weird until Rob gets here. Shoot. Because I'm seeing stuff not working. We'll see. We might have to play it by ear until hopefully he gets here. But who is here is my beautiful co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
Doing well, thank you. I'm looking forward to tonight.
Without technical difficulties that I'm having right now.
Oh, yeah. Always.
Yeah. So, yeah, kind of waiting on Rob. Oh, Rob, come on. Yeah, I don't have no memory. It won't let me connect my Dropboxes as it can't sync. And I look like, 153 megabytes of memory left. I'm like, oh, wow. I don't know how that happened. Something Windows is doing. Like, where's the memory? I've erased everything on my computer. This is what I've been dealing with. This is what I've been dealing with lately with my computer, trying to get the show running. Technical difficulties. So, Rob, I know you're running late. I know. Well, I guess I could run in the World Wide Web Weird. I think it'll let me show a couple things. If I have a video I want to play, I don't think it's going to let me play that video. There's 2 videos. We may have to come back to those until I can get Rob here. Ooh. Technical problems, of course. Ugh. All right. But our guest, Wajid Hassan, will join us after the World Wide Web of Weird. But speaking of, let's go ahead. Hopefully, Rob, keep fingers crossed, will join us. Oh, no, wait. There he is. Are you there, Rob? I don't hear you, Rob. Unmute if you're muted.
I'm here.
Oh, thank God. I needed you because I don't have enough memory to open up Dropbox on my computer, so I definitely need you for the World Wide Web of Weird. So get that screen share up, and let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I like to keep you updated on consistent stories we cover on the World Wide Web of Weird. And who do we got tonight? Because my wife had to share this with me a few weeks ago. And that's how we're behind on the World Wide Web. Some of these stories you're like, I've seen that. I'm sorry. I have some stuff that I had from last week I was going to do and some stuff, new stuff. But this is something I was going to cover last week because we want to get the ongoing story of the Kazakhstan bodybuilder Yuri Talachko and his doll wife. Well, bodybuilder cheats on sex doll wife with bizarre object while she gets repaired. Yes, you heard that right. For those listening on the Paranormal Radio Network, which you're not listening right now because I never hit play. I am so sorry. Now I realize, wow, so what happens when I'm off week? If you're joining us on the Paranormal Radio Network, hello. You missed the intro. That's all right. We're just starting the World Wide Web of Weird because I forgot to hit play. Everything's gone wrong. But we're here. At least that's gone right. That's gone right? And Rob's here. And we got the World Wide Web of Weird. So we're going to hopefully hang in there. If you're just joining us on the Paranormal Radio app, I apologize. I forgot to hit play. I had technical problems, again, at the beginning of the show. We'll get into that. All right. Yeah. All right, bodybuilder cheats on sex doll wife with bizarre object while she gets repaired. It's not another sex doll. No, it's I don't know if you can see in the picture. It's like a wrap thing with bumps on it. I don't know. Like a vacuum cleaner filter. I don't know. Yuri Tolkachuk from Kazakhstan married a doll Margot last November after saying he fell in love when he spotted her at a nightclub. I mean, I'm just picturing the sex doll at a nightclub. Like, hey, honey. Like, what's the pickup line for the sex doll? Come on, Rob. You got to go in.
Smells like rubbers in here.
Well, that'll work.
That's not a pickup line for anybody, Rob.
Yeah, I know.
Well, maybe for a sex doll. But he had to send her away for repair because during his had to send her away after breaking her before Christmas. He broke her. I mean, he's a bodybuilder. A bodybuilder who married a sex doll cheated with a bizarre object while she was being repaired. Yuri Tolkachuk from Kazakhstan married a doll Margot last November, but she revealed Margot had broken days before Christmas and has been sent away for repair. In the meantime, he posted a video on Instagram of himself touching a silver object with small ridges and nothing but his underwear. Yuri told 99,000 followers, "Looks like I've got a new passion." One follower replied, "Hey, are you cheating on your wife?" Yuri said, "Maybe," adding, "I can't stand while she's away in the hospital." It's a sex doll repair shop, not a hospital.
This guy.
Yeah. Another Instagram follower added, "Somehow I don't think your wife would have much to say about it at all anyways." Commenting on this video, Yuri also insisted to his followers it was wonderful. Yuri tied the knot with Margot at a ceremony. He attended dozens of guests in November. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he just goes over this. This is mirror.co.uk. So this guy, like, I don't know. I'm wondering, starting to wonder if it's a gimmick. Like, he's like, the sex doll thing's not enough. We need to move on to vacuum cleaner filters or something. I don't know what that thing is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Where do you draw the line? Okay, so some people who are married use, adult stuff on the side.
Novelty.
Is that considered cheating?
Yeah, they're using it together? I don't know.
Where does that draw the line as of maybe a substitute, not actual emotional cheating?
Well, you don't have to worry about emotional cheating when it's a doll.
Well, because obviously
it has no emotions. Just wait till it's AI robot.
Yeah,
that's when we're in trouble. Then the AI gets jealous.
Oh dear.
You cheat that on me.
Yeah.
Kill.
Let's move on to
Kill.
more. Let's move on to more eccentric weirdos. Gwyneth Paltrow. We've covered this one before, and I thought I'd give an update on this one. We've covered this one. Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina-scented candle explodes into flames, causing an inferno in a woman's living room. We covered her having this candle. Well, now it blew up. Jodie Thompson 50, it's from the sun.co.uk. Jodie Thompson 50 won the risque product sold by Hollywood star and a wellness guru in an online quiz. Oh, look what you won. A candle that smells like, Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. Wow. The candle is described as Gwyneth's Goop's site as funny, gorgeous, sexy, and beautifully unexpected. But Jodie was taken by surprise after lighting it. It went 50 centimeters, flame leapt from the candle and out of the glass jar. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. The media consultant told The Sun, the candle exploded and emitted huge flames with the bits flying everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. The whole thing was ablaze and it was too hot to touch. There was an inferno in the room. Jodie, who lives with her partner David Snow in Kilburn, North London, said, "We eventually got it under control and threw it out the front door." It could have burned the place down. It was scary at the time, but funny looking back that Gwyneth's vagina candle exploded in my living room.
Wow.
So don't get the candle. It's highly flammable. I don't know if it has anything to do with, no. The Goop woman spokesman told The Sun, "We're in touch with the woman to see," that's maybe not the right words, "we're in touch with the woman to see if she followed the specific fire safety instructions, including with the candle, such as trimming the wick and not burning it for more than 2 hours." And she just lit it. At Goop, we vet the products we sell and we make customers. Remember we talked about they vet the products? I went, who had to go, what's that smell like? Oh, it smells like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina. Or did Gwyneth Paltrow go like that? Yep, that smells like me.
Yes, let's
just Hollywood, I don't get them. I don't get it.
Didn't trim the wick enough, apparently.
Now, eccentric people I enjoy, this next one, because this is the kind of eccentric I would be if I had lots of money, is Robert Bigelow. He got into the whole UFO craze, and he also bought Skinwalker Ranch for a while, had that. I mean, man after my own heart here. Bigelow offers $1 million for proof of life after death. Bigelow Aerospace founder is certainly no stranger to unexplained, having been very vocal about his interest in UFO phenomenon over several occasions. He's also believed to have played a role in influencing the initiation of the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which investigates UFOs between 2007 and 2012. Now he has his sights set on another mystery, the question of whether life goes on after we die. Through the Bigelow Institute of Consciousness Study, he has launched a new drive to encourage scientists, philosophers, I can't talk, and other thinkers to pen essays laying down the case for life after death. The $500,000 will be given to an essay that provides the best evidence of the survival of consciousness after permanent bodily death, while lesser prizes of $300,000 and $150,000 will be available to the second and third place winners. Can I write an essay? I mean, I'm not a scientist. I could write something very interesting. The Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Studies was formed to try and conduct research and facilitate research into possibility of survival of human consciousness beyond bodily death. And if that's true, then it's time to explore what the other side's all about, said Bigelow. The 75-year-old says that he is totally convinced that there's some form of afterlife. Exactly what can constitute as compelling evidence remains unclear, but it'd certainly be interesting to read what the winning entries, if and when the competition does come to a close. So, I mean, I guess he's one scientist essays on this, but $500,000. I mean, I could write an essay. I can get some my proof. I don't know. But you know, what's going to be proof? You know, how are they going to judge that winner? How about some big money, Bruce? You know, or Bruce? Probably come Bruce. Bruce Bigelow? No, no, Robert Bigelow. Yeah. How about some real money behind it? Let's get into the real sci-fi stuff. You know, I don't know, but maybe it's a start.
Could be.
All right, now we're getting into UFO stuff. Now this first one is a video we can show. The second one I'm gonna have, I can't show the video. It's just an article. And then there's another one we're going to have. So we got these trio of UFO stories. We're going to start with this first one. Odd trio of UFOs spotted in New York City. This is from January 19th. Like I said, we're a little bit behind. Curious video from New York City shows an odd trio of lights appear to form a triangle in the night sky. The weird scene reportedly unfolded on a Sunday evening over the Bronx and mystified the witness who captured it via his cell phone. In the footage, he can be heard marveling at the orange-looking orbs literally flying next to each other in a triangle formation, slowly moving across the sky. The man then talks to some of the bystanders who are also watching the orbs, and they all agree that they have no idea what the eerie anomalies could be. It does take on like a triangular shape. I don't know what this could be, but I do like the video because there's nothing fake about it. Because he's talking to the people around him. They're talking about it too. That's what I love about videos like this. And Hitting the Underbelly 2.0 is the YouTube channel. They always have really good stuff. So go ahead and play it.
Look at them next to each other. They literally fly next to each other. They orange in color. They look like stars. Look at that. It's a triangle. Look at that. They're orange. You guys know what that is? You see that? Yo nunca he visto eso. Es una cosa anaranjada en triángulo. Mira cómo vuelan. No hacen sonido. Mira, se apagó una. No, I'm not even recording it right. Wow. I don't know what it is. God bless you guys. Look at that. Let me keep recording it. Let me see if I can get it up closer. Mira, 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 mira. They're just orange lights just right next to each other. Never seen that. Look.
I got a zoom in of it here. Not that you can tell anything much different. I don't know what it is, but I love it when they commentary on the. I love it when it's recorded and somebody's saying it. When there's no commentary and they're filming it and there is audio, I'm like, Then I wonder shenanigans. But this is he saw something for sure. I don't know if it was a UFO or what it was.
Moving in unison, you know, like it is a 3-pointed something.
Yeah, it looks like it could be like a triangle craft. I don't know.
And it didn't look like the Starlink trains. You know how?
No, not like that at all.
Yeah.
And it's moving way not like they move at all. I mean, it looks slower. So I don't know. Could it be the Chinese lanterns that are just flowing in sync, or your drones?
No, that was
I don't know.
Perfectly in sync.
I know. It looks like something to me. So I thought it was really interesting. Anybody else in New York seen that? If anybody listening, watching in New York, I'd love to hear about it. That was what, January 19th, I believe I said. Yeah. All right. This next one, I can't play the video, and I really wish I could, because I'd like to play the video with something I'm going to call out shenanigans for. Oh, hold on. I hit the wrong thing. Hold on a second. This was a Singapore airplane. I can't play the video. This is just a screenshot they have in the article of it. You see like a little white spot going near the airplane. Let me read the article. I'll kind of tell you a little bit. A passenger aboard a commercial flight, this is from independent.co.uk. A passenger aboard a commercial flight captured the moment the aircraft came within striking distance of an unidentified flying object. The traveler was on board a Singapore Airlines flight on 17th of January and began filming the plane's descent into Zurich, Switzerland through the window. At first, the video filmed between 7:20 and 7:50 a.m. simply shows a picturesque landscape complete with lakes and fields. But after the aircraft tilts to the right, a white object can be seen streaking across the sky just below its flight path. It is possible to say what the object was. It moved out of shot too quickly. The latest string of incidents involved near misses between aircraft. And I always talk about how scary this is. Now, this video is scary. They don't mention this article. Is like there's also like the pilot on the speaker telling people to prepare for impact and like put their head between their legs, and you can hear people talking like whoa, 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 and the plane starts to tilt, and then this thing goes flying by. I don't know. Like I saw comments like, is this stock footage of like maybe that's a bird going by or something, and then they put the voiceover stuff on it.
Is this it like over here?
Yeah, you see no. It's like right off the plane wing there, like right in the middle of the plane wing, off to the left. Yeah, right there. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
and he goes flying by. I don't know what it is. If that is a real video, man, it's scary because like it sounded like the pilot was scared this thing was heading right at him, but it doesn't. You know, you look at it, it doesn't look like it's that big. I don't know. I feel like it could be shenanigans. I don't have the YouTube channel. They had it. There's just a link, but it was licensed, so I didn't want to show it. But is it real? I mean, if it is, that's scary.
Is this moving in the video?
Yeah. That's just a quick shot of it because it moves really fast through the frame, and the people in the plane react to it like, "Whoa," you know.
Yeah.
But some people said it's overdubbed and it's from stock footage. I don't know. It's interesting. It's scary if it's real. All right. I wish I could play the video. All right. But you get that independent.co UK traveler news, plane near miss UFO Singapore Airlines. That's how you'd find the article. All right. This next one, our guest is born in Pakistan. Well, this is a really good one. Got this from Unexplained Mysteries. Airline pilot films Foo Fighter UFO over Pakistan. The unidentified flying object was snapped by the crew of a Pakistani International Airlines flight between Multan and Sawahi, I don't know how you say that town, was captured on a camera back on January 23rd. The pilot, Captain Fahasi, I can't say his last name, sorry, recalled that the object was surrounded by a metallic ring and emitted a bright light at its center on the footage. It appears as stationary white. We're going to play it because we're running out of time, and this is really interesting. Turn it down a little.
No. This is not a balloon, and this is not an aircraft. Keep making the video.
The commentary on here I love. You know this is a real deal.
I am.
Now, how comfortable would you be in a plane, looking out the window and seeing something you don't know what that is flying up there?
It's moving. It's moving.
Yeah. So I thought that was really good, an interesting video out of Pakistan. Let's move on to the last one, though. All right, we've had this debate on the show. We haven't had enough Bigfoot shows, and I am working on it. I want another Bigfoot show. I need to get the right guest. But I want to do more shows on cryptids, and especially Bigfoot, excuse me. This comes from Fox 25. Oklahoma rep files bill to establish Bigfoot hunting season. All right, yeah, this is a hard one. A bill to establish a Bigfoot hunting season was introduced on Oklahoma Wednesday. Representative Justin Humphrey wants Oklahoma Wildlife Commission to establish a Bigfoot hunting season. Humphrey represents a large part of southeastern and south central Oklahoma that is infamous for Bigfoot sightings. They even host a Bigfoot festival every year. This, of course, was canceled due to COVID. The Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation Commission shall promulgate rules establishing a Bigfoot hunting season. The commission shall set annual dates and create any necessary specific hunting license and fees. Well, this is a way to make money, huh? This is, the debate, and I'd love to see. I mean, I know not everybody believes in Bigfoot. I don't know, but even if you don't believe it, just step out of that non-belief. If it is real, do you think it's right to? And you can comment. I'll show it on the chat room. Do you think it's right to kill a creature to prove its existence?
Yeah, I mean that was the first thing that came to mind. Is Bigfoot hunting. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to kill it, but I mean, they're going to shoot it if they see it.
Why can't they use a dart like they do for bears and stuff? I mean, why does it have to die?
Sam with her, Marie. We should take pictures of Bigfoot, not hunt them. If it's that hard to find, it's got to be that close to extinction. I really don't think we shoot it. Yeah.
And then they want to dissect it and test it and do all that stuff. But
see, how did my comments got changed on here? Darn it. I screwed something up. Say everything got messed up, man. Everything got reset. Like even my comments are.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that Bigfoot hunting. I would, I don't think just. Hey, I got my hunting license. I'm taking the 12 gauge out there and looking for Bigfoot.
What I say it's a recipe for somebody to get shot in a ghillie suit.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
I just think it's a bad idea for safety wise, even if you don't believe in Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You're putting a bunch of guys out there trying to shoot something that's a humanoid creature. That's what their eyes are looking for. With a gun to shoot is going to lead to problems.
Yeah.
But even if you send out like really skilled hunters that really know what they're doing, is it right? I don't. I'd love to be able to prove Bigfoot. Like, let's answer that question.
Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, do we have to kill it to prove its existence? I've had guests on that say yes. I've had a couple that have said yes to that when we got into the whole cryptoid subject and Bigfoot, that they've said, yeah, I think the only way we're going to prove this is when we got a body.
Well, it doesn't have to be a dead body. And then it's still
What if
sad
they-
if you put it in a cage or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about that kind of stuff, but
Yeah, I mean, there's, I've said, well, we could shoot with a tranquilizer dart, and then what, we put it in captivity? Where do we go from there? No.
yeah, but it's like there's only one, so we're just gonna wipe it all out to prove there was one.
We don't know if there's only one. I don't think there's only one. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't be around at that site of that long if there was just the one in all the different places. There's definitely multiple ones, but they got to be endangered.
Well, I mean, it's that
They got to
hard
be pretty
to
close
find
to
one.
endangered.
What's the odds of finding another one?
New
Right.
exhibit at the Chicago Zoo, Bigfoot.
The odds are not going to be very great to find another one again if you shoot it and kill it. I think the other ones will definitely never make any contact with humans again.
Right?
They have good reason to stay away when we're trying to make a bill. And with everything going on, some jackass politician's got to come up with this bill because he thinks, honestly, I somebody said it, revenue, that's just, we can make a bunch of fees and have a reason for people to go out hunting. And they don't even have to kill anything because they're not going to find
How
Bigfoot.
much the license would be a Bigfoot hunting license.
And what if Bigfoot is, this is far fetched, but what if it is some prehistoric man that is still in existence? You'd actually be killing a person,
Yeah, I mean,
it's obvious they're obviously smart because they're not just like digging in the dumpster and getting caught.
They stayed away from us. They're definitely smart.
Exactly.
But that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. And I think the majority of people I've seen in the chat room are like, yeah, don't shoot Bigfoot. And I think that's consensus. And like I said, I got to get a Bigfoot guest on here. If you know a Bigfoot guest, you can email me at jbland, or is it Paranormal Soup, jbland at gmail.com, or is it jbland Paranormal Soup at gmail.com? That's how off I am. I don't even have that in my notes. But email me, one of those. Let me know if you know somebody that'd be a good Bigfoot guest, but I need their contact information, or message me on Facebook. Of course, that hasn't been great lately. I don't get on Facebook a lot. All right, our guest is Wajid Hassan. He's the author of The Struggle for World Sanity. And boy, is that such a topic we need right now, because it does feel, we felt this way in 2020. 2021 is not being any different. It feels like we are really struggling for sanity here in the world. So we'll talk about all that. We'll open up the phone lines later in the show, but we will be back after the short commercial break.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It's called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Certificate A. Now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to The Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
The international chart-topping Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest, the true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
Do you like rock and roll? Do you enjoy a good story? Wish You Were Here, A Rock Fantasy, is a book inspired by Badfinger. It will not only entertain you, but intrigue you. What is it about? Well, Thomas is searching for his bandmate and friend in heaven, and in spirit has helped pen this story. He meets an old friend and famous new ones on his afterlife voyage. Midwest Book Review said, Wish You Were Here, A Rock Fantasy, is a book inspired by Badfinger. It's a quirky story by Joyce S. Isaacson and is unique, original, and deftly crafted metaphysical novel that showcases the author's genuine flair for character and narrative-driven entertainment that is simply riveting from first page to last. Wish You Were Here, A Rock Fantasy is now available on pennantpublication.com, Amazon.com in paperback and hardcover, and also on Kindle Unlimited. So check it out now. Wish You Were Here, A Rock Fantasy.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe. 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is Wajid Hassan. He's the author of The Struggle for World Sanity. From Pakistan to England and then settling in America, Wajid has lived an interesting and varied life in many fields of endeavor. From technical background as a field service engineer to stand-up comedian with over 20 years as a union actor doing voiceover, narration, commercials, as well as TV and movie roles. He's also encompasses over 40 years of experience in the field of metaphysics, healing, spirituality, and New Age concepts. He's an avid hiker who managed to climb the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in 2006 as Africa's highest mountain in Tanzania. He's a humanitarian and environmentalist, always looking for ways to improve life for people, along with a deep love for our planet and all the plants and animals who reside upon her back. As a qualified speaker, healer, and teacher, he can demonstrate how to reignite the spiritual flame within us and send it outwards to all, improving not only our own personal lives, but those of every life stream that live on our beautiful world, something he outlines in detail in his #1 best-selling Amazon book, The Struggle for World Sanity, which will inspire and uplift those who read it. And we do need some uplifting. It's 2021, and the world's just getting more insane. That's how I feel. So I think this is a perfect guest for tonight, and I've been really looking forward to having Wajid on. You can call in later in the show. Right now I got the phone lines down, but we will open up the phone lines after the next commercial break. So just hang in there if you want to call in. We will take your calls, but let's go ahead and get to our guest. Are you there with me, Wajid?
I am indeed, Jason.
It's an honor to have you on. I've been really looking forward to this. I wish I could have read your book beforehand. I just realized I saw it was on my Amazon free for Kindle, actually, and really looking forward to reading it because I've been struggling with my own sanity in this world right now. So I could definitely use your advice, and I think the world could use some advice right now.
Well, absolutely. I don't know anybody right now. I think it's the karma of the whole of mankind as one that we're going through this phenomena of insanity. And you told me before the show some of the things that you're going through, and I'm sure Jamie and Rob are going through their own deal, and I think most of your listeners are going through some kind of challenge. I would call it a karmic challenge that's teaching us. It's a very tough challenge right now, and you're right, Jason. Things are not going to get any better. But I'm not here to say that it possibly may get worse before it gets better. But what I'm here tonight to let your listeners know that based on some of the truths that I've heard from my own yogi master that I followed since the age of 16, English gentleman by the name of Dr. George King, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that this is not going to go on forever.
Well, that's kind of all what we want to hear, but getting there is the question, Well, I'm interested in learning because, it seemed like you've lived a very interesting life from what I read of your bio, and I did listen, like I said, I heard you on Heather Wade's show months ago. It was a really interesting show, but it's been months ago, so there's stuff I probably don't remember from when I'm hearing that. But I do remember, and I think the audience would enjoy to hear it, you were born in Pakistan and moved to England at a very young age?
Yeah, my parents moved to Pakistan when I was 3 years old, and I lived in the north of England, and then we moved to London when I was 10 and went to high school there, and then eventually ended up in America. It was in London that I was raised pretty much as a Muslim in my earlier days, going to the mosque, reading the Quran, doing the prayers. At the same time, I went to a Church of England school where I did Bible study and Christian hymns and Christian prayers. So I got the best of both worlds in Islam and Christianity, and I didn't see any difference between the two ideologies going towards the same divine principle. But eventually, when I found about my yogi master around the age of 16, I decided to follow him, and some of the truths that he propounded, I've been following ever since.
Was that hard? I've had friends that grew up in, strict Muslim homes, Was that how were your family open to you basically dwelling outside of the Muslim religion?
Oh no, it's terrible. Just caused a tremendous uproar, and it got to the point where at the age of 17, I had to leave home. I just,
It's the
my
same way for
father.
Christians. I should say that too. I have Christian friends, the same problem, But yes.
Well, I think it's all fear-based.
Yes.
People don't understand. I got nothing against Islam. I got nothing against Christianity. I love all the major religions. But I think everybody in their own way, in their own life, has some kind of spiritual awakening. And for me, that was a spiritual awakening. It wasn't an easy one, like the fact that it caused a tremendous amount of fights at home. And no, that my parents never did accept my new philosophy and ideology.
Yeah, that I feel that's one of the things I've always felt very blessed by, was being raised by parents that were, my dad's kind of atheist, kind of open a little bit, but my mom's a Buddhist, and like raised, you look and search for what you want to believe. I was raised in a completely open environment. I am completely lucky because I have so many friends that were not, and maybe, and I guess that's why I am the way I am. But I find it really interesting when somebody breaks free of roots and traditions, when it can be harmful to relationships and family. But it doesn't, hell or high water. They were seeking a higher spiritual awareness, or they're speaking some other. They've left those roots. It's a very powerful thing.
Well, also, Jason, there's also inclinations from previous lives as well. It's not just a case of being born a Christian or a Muslim or whatever. I read autobiography of a yogi when I was 16 by Paramahansa Yogananda about his exploits up in in India, with meeting with different spiritual yogi masters, and I could totally relate to it. And so it's not a case of being born one particular religion, one particular race. Something comes up and it ignites something that was from the past.
Speaks to you. I believe in that so much. I really do, Wajid. I really do. I mean, there's things that I've read and people told me that it's a resonation. Like, it resonates with something in you. I'm a complete believer in past lives. I've talked about on the show 2 very vivid dreams that I am convinced are past life that I was recalling in these dreams. They were so vivid, so real. One, I was a Buddhist monk in Vietnam, I'm pretty sure, from the robes I was wearing. And the other, I was a little black girl slave that was beaten to death by her white master and father. Totally where these came from, why I had them, but to me, they were not like any other dream I had in my life. And I completely believe they were gifts given to me to show me this is why you're wired the way you are, because both of them in their own way explain why since my earliest memories, am the way I am.
Absolutely, Jason. And we're ancient beings that have been through many lives, and unfortunately, at this present moment, we've kind of evolved ourselves. We used to be highly evolved at one particular time. And the Bible talks about Adam and Eve and the fall from the Garden of Eden. That's even though it's kind of a fairy tale, it has a lot of truth involved in that, and that's why we are in the position that we are in. We at one time we were very advanced, and unfortunately, through our own free will and our own collective actions or inactions, we're at the stage where we are now. But
do you think we're de-evolving? Is that what you're?
We have de-evolved.
Yeah.
We're in. You talk about paranormal, and you talk about ghosts and entities from the other realms, and paranormal. The definition of paranormal is, clairvoyance beyond that of scientific, knowledge, explanation. And so, at one time, things like psychic phenomena and, clairvoyance, clairaudience, all these things we actually had at one time. And maybe I could explain that to you, why we're in that position that we are now. And what happened in our past, what's happening in our present, and what's going to happen in the future. I think it's a message that hasn't really been heard too well, because not many people have actually had the answer to that in such a concise way that my yogi master, Dr. George King, did.
Well, we're going to get into that for sure. But let's talk about your yogi master, Dr. George King. You know, who was he? I mean, what got you, basically following him and learning from him? What led you down that path?
Well, I'm not here to convert anybody.
Right.
I'm not here with my ideology. I'm a firm believer of keeping an open mind and doing your own investigation, and that's what I did. But I also followed my intuition, and our intuition is probably I explained in my book that our intuition is probably one of the best lie detector instruments that we have, that's inborn in us. And if we use our intuition more, we don't have to listen to the lies of the media and be brainwashed that we've had over the centuries. We've just been manipulated like clay. And so
preach it on. My wife's probably listening. I don't know. She's probably asleep. But it sounds like my typical conversations I've had for years now about the media and how people are brainwashed. We're being controlled, in so many ways, in so many subtle ways, and not so subtle ways. And the last 4 years have been nothing more but prevalent now, I think, than any time. How well they're manipulating people.
Yeah, and when you put forward, your team, Jamie and Rob and other people, you put forward your ideology of, things that go bump in the night and poltergeist and stuff, and people kind of weird, and it's just absolutely normal. And what you guys are doing is actually a service to humanity by bringing these things out, and it's not something that's weird and airy fairy. It's something that's actually very scientific and very real. And my master was a scientist in his own right. He invented a lot of radionic instrumentation for the benefit of mankind. But the thing that was drawn to me was he wrote a book back in the 60s called The 9 Freedoms, and he initially he was during World War II, he was a section leader for the London Fire Brigade, and he was involved in the search and rescue during the Nazi Blitz, the bombing of Britain.
Oh, wow.
And so, as a young man in his 20s, it really affected him when he had to pick up pieces of little children, after the explosions, and it just really affected him. Like, why all this suffering? Why are people going through all this suffering? So after the war, again, recollections of his past, he got into self-development and yoga, not the kind of yoga that, people do, the basic hatha yoga for health, but he got into serious self-development, doing breathing exercises,
right,
pranayama, mantra, and, for up to 8 to 10 hours a day on top of his normal job at that time, which he had as a London cab driver. And for 10 years, he did that. He did that discipline till he got to the point where he could raise his consciousness or raise Kundalini to a higher psychic center where he was aware not only of beings who inhabit the planes of Earth, but also beings who inhabit the planes above Earth on the other planets. And it was then that he was contacted by the people who man these UFOs from the other planets. And it was a master by the name of Master Aetherius that actually contacted him, and then other masters contacted him, and he mentally channeled through a very high state of cosmic consciousness the mental emanations that were coming from these entities, and he transmitted with his vocal larynx, some of the tremendous messages that were coming, some messages of urgency from the space people.
Well, let's just get a time reference for people. We're talking like, what, 50s, 60s when this was going on, when he started to communicate with extraterrestrial entities or interdimensional entities, or, you know, that to me, just the time frame of that is, I mean, that's not that he was the only one, but it's not like it is now. You know, it you know, definitely took a lot more flack for it back then than you do now.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, one of the entities that actually spoke through him,
yeah,
was the person that we knew on Earth as the Master Jesus, and then when in the 50s,
yeah,
you know, when he stated that the Master Jesus was gonna speak through him, I mean, it caused an uproar in the Christian religion. People even there was attempts on his life. People tried to break into his apartment. Wow. And you know, so in those days, he was laughed at, he was spat at, and at one point he just stood alone and still, you know, continued to talk about, you know, he had one philosophy. He said to his followers that, you know, if you he said, you know, before I come on the platform, or if I have to speak to somebody, I make a solemn statement before my Creator, that I'm going to speak the truth. And one of his teachings was, if you want to learn truth, then speak the truth. So to him, he spoke the truth to the best of his knowledge, and it cost him a lot of popularity, cost him a lot of money, but he stuck to it. And you know, again, you know, some of these truths, even now, people are, you know, raise their eyebrows, but you know, throughout history, it's been proven that sometimes truth is absolutely stranger than fiction.
Oh, isn't that so true?
And yeah, you know, and so the things that were propounded in the past, you know, when certain astronomers, you know, said that, oh, you know, by the way, the Earth actually revolves around the sun. It's not the other way around. I mean, they could have been charged for high treason, burning at the stake.
They were.
They were, exactly.
They were. You know, people were executed over it.
And so to at least these days you can get away with it. At least in America, my gosh, in some of these other countries, even now. I mean, I heard in Turkey, there was this. What was it? In Egypt, this woman made a statement, and she was just about the Nile or something.
Oh yeah.
She was jailed for 2 years.
Yeah, isn't that? Oh my God.
And so there's countries now, in the communist countries, some of these Islamic countries, places in Africa, in South
China.
So, yeah, and so we're kind of lucky in one way, yet that we can still that we can still openly, you know,
at this moment in time.
Yes.
Maybe not tomorrow.
Yes.
I mean, the FBI is going after a guy. I mean, I don't agree with the guy, but they're going after a guy for memes he posted for election interference. I mean, they're putting him in jail for it. So, I mean, and going to court, you know. So, yeah. I don't know how things are going to turn out for us on that front, but sorry. Go ahead.
Well, like I said, we can still talk about it.
Yeah. We still got better than other places.
Yeah, and we can still openly discuss that. But like I say, with Dr. King, when he said all these statements, and you know, he said things which were so out of this world, which they were, but you know, now it's a lot of these things have been are slowly being accepted. You know, life on other planets. I mean, at that time, he said that. Well, you know, he projected through astral projection to places like Mars and Venus and Saturn, and he said that there were civilizations that lived there, and everybody laughed at him. And you know, now if you look at it scientifically, of course, you know, if you go to places like Mars and Venus and Jupiter and, you know, Neptune, I mean, they could not, on a physical level, yes, they could not be inhabited by us as humanoids. But if you look into Hindu or Buddhist philosophy, that, you know, that that there are levels after we die. There are levels of existence just on this planet. And Dr. King mentioned that there was 4 levels below us and 6 levels above us of existence that we go to after we die. And so these also occur on the other planets in the solar system. And these advanced civilizations that exist, he said that every planet in the solar system, with the exception of Mercury, is inhabited. But they don't live on level 1, which is what we live on, the physical realm.
Like physical matter,
they live,
basically.
Yeah, they live on a vibration, which is they probably live on level 5 or 6 on a much higher spiritual vibrational sequence than we do. So if mankind, one of the things that the cosmic, I refer to the space people as cosmic masters, because they are, because I believe not only are they more scientifically evolved than we are, probably millions of years, but they're also very spiritually evolved beings. And that's something that mankind as a whole seems to snub. But
You got it. Yeah, at least
yeah,
lately.
Because it's like, it's like all the little green men who are going to take over the planet. And so, again, you can blame the silence group or the group behind the media or whatever that create this fear of UFOs and aliens and abductions and stuff like that. And here was a man saying, no, these beings are not evil. Of course, there are.
I was going to say
evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are evil aliens, of course, in this galaxy. It's not all pleasant out there, but I think also this planet is also being protected by the cosmic masters, and there have been through some of the transmissions that Dr. King received, there was actual attacks on this planet by alien forces, but they were repelled because these cosmic masters are very, very caring. They kind of look at us as kind of erring children, and they kind of want us back to where we used to be. We used to be like at one time.
That's what I've always said about this. If there's good aliens out there and bad aliens, well, there definitely has to be good aliens that have some kind of protecting us from the bad aliens, because obviously they can outweigh us on technology and just take us over or kill us off at any moment they wanted to. So there's got to be some other reason why they're not, and there has to be good aliens saying no. There's like a treaty or Galactic Federation says you can't step on this planet or you can't do something. I'm a sci-fi fan. I mean, that's where my brain goes on it. But to me, that's just the ultimate, where you end up with that idea. There has to be some reason why, if there's these bad aliens doing all these mischievous things, why aren't they just taking us over? Well, there's got to probably be somebody out there looking out for us, hopefully.
Well, Dr. King mentioned once that some of the technology that the cosmic masters have, with some of their beams, they could cut the planet in half with one beam, like you could cut a hot knife through butter. I mean, that's the kind of power that they have. So you're right. If they want to take over, they can easily take over. Another transmission was put through that. If you people were going to take over, how long would it take? And he was told probably at the minimum of 15 minutes, the whole planet could be taken over.
Yeah. I mean, if they got the kind of technology to reach us through vast distances of space, I mean, of course, if they're there's aliens on Jupiter, Mars, and all that, then that's not that vast. But still, even if they've made it distances here, they got technology that can outweigh us at any moment and just easily take us over. One of the reasons I've always wondered too, you talk about truth is stranger than fiction. That it might be the whole reason why there can never be a total, what do you call it? What everybody said, disclosure happening, or like a total reveal, because it's too, like you said, stranger than fiction. It's maybe too complicated for people to even grasp.
Well, the Cosmic Masters said that they've approached the leaders of this world.
Yeah.
They said they even approached the Vatican. And they were met with deaf ears, because and so what they're doing is they're reaching out to people like me and you, the normal people on the street, and they're propounding their philosophy now to the masses, to ask the masses to rise up in mass, in peace, and make this change that they're asking for. Now, you may ask, well, why are we in the state that we are in? And so I can quickly go through what Dr. King found out, which was the true history of mankind.
Yeah.
Now, a yogi master of the caliber of Dr. King, or if you meet any yogi master in India, they have tremendous powers, because when you raise your consciousness, raise Kundalini up to, past the solar plexus, up to the heart center and the throat center, into the third eye, you have tremendous powers. You can levitate. You can go through walls. You with telekinesis, you can move rocks. I mean, you can do tremendous. You have tremendous amount of powers, and so. But one thing that a yogi master can do, like. Of course, they have tremendous powers of clairvoyance. He can look at you, and of course, we're spiritual beings in a physical body. It's not the other way around.
Right.
And we have an aura and psychic senses, and a yogi master can look at you, and look at your aura, and imprinted in the aura is the exact history of your past, lives. And up to the present, and he can look at your aura and clearly tell where you've been, where you are, and possibly where you're going to be. So he did that to me once. He looked at me and looked at my aura, and he gave me an indication of a past life that I had, which was completely true, because I used, like I had premonitions of this when I was younger, and he just validated my past life. Now, if you bring that on a more cosmic scale, a yogi master can actually project from his body, and our Mother Earth. Of course, everybody who's intelligent knows that our Mother Earth is a living, breathing goddess. She's not just a cold piece of rock, and she also has an aura. Along with her 49 psychic centers, and a yogi master can actually project and read the aura of the planet, or as it's been written down in different philosophies as the Akashic records of the planet. And he did that, and so he mentioned that 18 million years ago. We, as a human race, actually lived on this planet that was inhabited between Jupiter and Mars by the name of Maldek.
I've heard this before.
And this actually came from the cosmic masters, and a lot of people have actually now they're recognizing the aspect of truth. Now, Maldek. We were a very advanced race. You talk about science fiction. He mentioned that robots took care of all the menial tasks on the planet. It was highly mechanicalized. We could control the weather. We had an abundance of food, and the majority of people just lived in utopia. Very advanced race. And then this disease struck in the minds of some of the scientists on Maldek, and they invented this hydrogen bomb, which was 10,000 times more powerful than the hydrogen bomb that we have on Earth. And in their greed for lust and power, they did the most atrocious thing that could be possibly done, and they blew up the planet Maldek. And so all that's left of our home planet. So again, what Dr. King was saying is that we're all extraterrestrials. Right. We're not from this Earth. We're actually from our home planet Maldek, which we blew up 18 million years ago. And so, because we're all part of one race, the minority that blew up the planet, we were all just as responsible on a karmic level for the destruction because of our own indolence and not reacting and stopping this murder of our home planet. So we were all released on our different etheric realms that we go to, and then from there, the cosmic hierarchy of this solar system had to decide how mankind can come back and reincarnate, and different planets were looked at, and the only place that could afford us the experience that we needed at that time was planet Earth. And at that time, she was inhabited by another race of individuals called Adamic man, and Adamic man agreed on, as well as the goddess Earth agreed, to take in the murderers of Maldek, the souls of Maldek, who were actually, just terribly deformed because of the radiation. And so through evolution from the seas and whatever, eventually we Adamic man helped up to a certain point, and over the thousands of years, we evolved into another civilization called Lemuria. And Lemuria again was a very advanced race, and they actually had contact with the higher beings from Mars and from Venus. And again the disease struck, and Lemuria fell down in atomic war.
Like, keep repeating the same cycle.
Exactly. And then
Atlantis?
after thousands, came Atlantis, and same thing with Atlantis. We're just a real dummy race. We really are. I mean, one side in Lemuria, in Atlantis, invented an atom bomb they called the Brahma weapon, which was called the weapon of God, and the other side invented a controllable atomic ray called Indra's dart, and down went Atlantis, and the Earth flipped on her. She was told to flip on her axis, and Atlantis went down in the waters. And after thousands of years ago, we had this so-called civilization now, and it's really interesting that we, again, for the fourth time, we opened the Pandora's box and started the atomic race again. And it was known by the cosmic masters that the Earth as an entity was going to die, because in the 50s, this not only after this terrible World War I and World War II, but then the atom was reinvented again, and all these explosions were happening around the planet, and they knew that the Earth was suffocating. And it was very interesting then, Jason, that the flying saucers appeared in the skies.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yes, exactly. And I mean, look, Roswell is the most infamous case, how close that was to the first bombing group in the United States that had the new, hydrogen bomb.
Well, I mean, even now, some of the generals have come forward that, a lot of the UFOs were seen over nuclear facilities, So there was a tremendous amount of,
those damn humans again.
Yes, there was a genuine concern in the solar system that here goes man again, and here there he goes again on the fourth time, ready to I don't know, but we're known in this galaxy as a very barbaric, primitive race.
I would say I first heard about the whole Maldek thing when I read a book many years ago, which kind of outlined the same premise of human past. I cannot remember the name of the woman author. I think she's passed away now. But she wrote a book that outlined all this in her trance state, and it's very, very right on the same planet name, and it does come from something. And I was trying to remember it. And just in case, I love that name. Comment in the chat room. The name Maldek originates from a German astronomer and professor Jonathan Daniel Titus, after Jonathan Boyd urged a search for a hypothetical planet, but it seems like everybody tuned into this. Like when I read this book many years ago, about what this first time I had ever heard this information was in this book, it resonated. You know what I mean? Like something hit me in this book.
Yes.
That this story of Maldek exploding, becoming the asteroid belt, and the way souls came here and everything, it really resonated with me. And
because we were there, Jason.
That's what I feel. Yeah, I feel like that. Like you said, it's like you have an inner knowing that goes, "Yeah, this sounds really familiar," even though I've never read it before. Yeah,
and that's why we have that draw to things like superheroes and you know, scientific things, because a lot of it is actually is more truthful than we realize. I mean, at one time we were superhumans, and we had technology that was extremely advanced, but we blew it by blowing up ourselves. And so, you know, that's with what was happening with mankind, again starting to explode the atomic and hydrogen bombs. It was known that the Mother Earth was going to die, and the cosmic hierarchy in the solar system made a decree that the planet Earth will not be destroyed, as Maldek was destroyed. And so if mankind tries to destroy this planet, there will be intervention. His free will not be allowed to destroy. He's still allowed to destroy his own kind, but he will not be allowed to destroy this planet.
Well, think about the infamous case we had in America at a nuclear base where the UFOs came and literally, you know, shut down literally all the nuclear warheads.
See, that's what I don't understand, Jason, is our mentality. Is here are retired generals, okay?
Yeah.
You know, disciplined retired generals in the military coming on CNN and saying that UFOs came, they put a beam on the silos and they dismantled and they neutralized the warheads. And you know, why didn't the rest of mankind just go, oh my God, this is the most incredible news? And then suddenly they say, oh, J-Lo's having a baby, and everybody's like, oh, J-Lo's having a baby.
Well, because we didn't hear about it till way later, many years later. You know, it was all classified and deep dark, and nobody talked about it. And now it's coming out in the open.
When it came out on CNN, how come nobody on the planet just
went, distracted. We're distracted, Wajid.
Exactly.
All the time distracted. We have so many little flashing lights in front of us and so many things we shouldn't care about, but we do for some stupid reason. Like, I do not care about any of the celebrities or their life. And I'm like you. I'm like, why doesn't people care about this? Nobody cares. Like, we were distracted by the stupidest things.
Well, you know, the weapons of mass distraction are going on these days. So what happened is the Cosmic Masters made direct action on behalf of Mother Earth, not so much for mankind, but they actually using their spacecraft actually absorbed a lot of that atomic energy, because really a lot of the scientists even today cannot fathom why we're still alive, because we should have.
From the original nuclear blast and tests that they did.
Yeah, we should have all died, you know. So they still can't understand why we're still alive, you know.
Well, yeah, you know, I get in this argument with people about. I mean, I'm all for science. I'm not against science. But when people are like, well, trust the scientists, I'm like, why should I trust the scientists? When they would blow up a bomb, they didn't know for sure exactly what the whole impact of it doing would be. But let's do it. That's what scientists do. You know, I'm just saying, you know, there's a little mad scientist in me too that wonders about stuff, but it doesn't mean you should do it. You know, but they'll do it.
There was a transmission from one of the cosmic masters from Jupiter, and they said if you could see the auras of the children of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, the mutated auras of the children of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, you would think twice about exploding your hydrogen and atomic bombs. You know,
what do you think I mean, reincarnation-wise, that's just an interesting point. Like, what happens to those souls? Are they reincarnated? Does it take time because it's that damaging from dying in a nuclear blast?
Well, you know, they have, because a nuclear blast not only affects level 1, it affects all the other levels as well. And their advanced scientific instruments could register what was happening not only on the Geiger level on level 1, but also on the other realms. And then, of course, those children and the people who were killed in those atomic explosions, they came back as mutations. You know, one arm, one leg. Terrible mutations over many lives till they reach to normalcy. You know, Agent Orange was also another example in Vietnam that they used. Same thing that happened to the children. And so, these things don't just suddenly go away. You don't just suddenly die in an explosion and then that's the end of it.
But it affects you on a reincarnation level. That's what you're saying. Like,
oh yeah,
wow.
Yeah, lives, many lives.
See, we don't know the impacts of what we do. That's what I say. I'm like, you can trust science, but don't trust the scientist, because you don't know what the scientist is going to say. Ooh, what am I going to try this? Let's see what happens.
See, our science is based on the, our best brains are employed in destruction.
Yeah.
Creating better weapons, better atomic bombs. The best brains on this planet are into destruction. They're not into how to use. Well, of course, I'm not talking about all the scientists, but I'm talking on the.
Look at Da Vinci. I mean, he made weapons. I mean, like, brilliant. I mean, extraordinary brilliant. I mean, way beyond his time. He had to be on some kind of spiritual level to be able to tap into the knowledge he had, but he still made weapons.
Yeah, I don't know about Da Vinci making weapons. I haven't read that part of Da Vinci making weapons.
I mean, it's there in his drawings and artwork. He made it for military weapons and concepts. I mean, he went into.
Or maybe he could foresee some of those things.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely. I mean, he was coming up with the ideas of submarines. Sorry to get off topic, but this will make I think of when you talk about man, even the most brilliant man, like Da Vinci, still turned his brilliance to making weapons.
Absolutely. So that's the mentality of the race. But there's certain factors now that are occurring today that they're forcing mankind to either they have to change and conform, or we will not be allowed to live on this planet. And then what happened on July the 8th, 1964. The cosmic masters got together and with their spacecraft, and it was an event called the Initiation of Earth, where the Mother Earth was given a tremendous amount of spiritual energy, and that energy is now being held in a state of suspension, and so the Mother Earth has now been, because she has held her evolution up for mankind over these millions of years just to keep us, and it's time for her to end her suffering, and eventually the ionosphere is going to be taken down. It was intensified after the destruction of Lemuria and Atlantis to stop inspiration from coming in, higher inspiration coming in to mankind, and so that's the cosmic rays are actually being increased. And so every year now, the Mother Earth is raising her vibrations spiritually. And on top of that, astrologically, I'm sure Jamie will agree as well that, we were also in the beginning of the Aquarian age, coming from the Piscean age. And the Aquarian age is also demanding the cooperation, service, and taking care of each other. And so all these astrological and the Mother Earth raising her vibrations are pointing to mankind now that if mankind doesn't raise the vibrations along with the Mother Earth and what's going on in the Aquarian age, again, this is something that Dr. King, that the Cosmic Masters spoke through Dr. King, that if mankind doesn't change now, he will eventually, after death, be taken to another planet to start his evolutionary cycle. And so this other planet, you may have heard of Planet X that the scientists keep talking about.
Yeah.
It's in the solar system. It's on the other side of the sun from the Earth, so we can't physically see it, but their mathematical calculations know that this planet exists. And what the Cosmic Masters are saying, that either mankind now change, or if they continue their destructive ways, we will eventually, if we don't cooperate, be taken to this other planet to start our evolutionary cycle. And that's what's happening right now.
See, I've always felt like, just instinctively, like with what's going on with the aliens and us here, is that we're like quarantined here. Like, we're some kind of past galactic wars treaty, and we're like prisons or souls in a prison, or it's kind of whatever. I don't know. There's just like, I don't know. my sci-fi brain's way of thinking of ever since I was a kid. I just felt like if we're here, we're quarantined. And that's kind of what you're telling me is what it kind of feels that's the gist of it, that they're quarantining us here and trying to make us evolve to something better. If not, they're kicking us out, moving us to another planet.
Yeah, as far as quarantine is concerned, I think what they're trying to say is, well, we used our free will, and what they're saying is our free will has brought us to the state that we are in now. So they've never taken action against us. We've still been allowed our free will, but because of our free will, we haven't achieved any kind of freedom, and because of our free will, that's the reason we have these endless wars, these famines, this economic system, this inequality on this planet. And we can't blame the cosmic masses. We can't blame our creator. We as a race are all responsible for the conditions that we have on this planet today. And we have to take responsibility. My master wrote a book called "You Are Responsible," and he didn't say that they are responsible. He was saying that we, as a collective human race, are responsible for all these conditions. And he did say that we didn't come on this planet to suffer. That this Earth is a classroom where we can experience glorious things. We didn't come here to suffer, but because we have been manipulated by the few, the power hungry or the elite over the centuries, we've been kind of hypnotized in a way. And so what the cosmic masters are doing, they're bombarding this planet with high spiritual energies in order to help raise the consciousness of the mankind, so that we can break away from this cycle of materialism and let's face it, a kind of mental slavery that we're under right now.
Oh yeah, this is what I say. I feel like we are de-evolving. I see things changing that are good. Definitely more people are open to spirituality and talking about these things. This is why I do the show, and there's more shows like this, and there's more openness to talk about these experiences, and people are definitely delving in. There's not so much religious dogma, at least in America, and in other places, England, and that there's more openness. But at the same time, we're becoming this techno-ocracy. We're all getting sucked into our cell phones. I'm just as guilty as anybody else, even though I've been taking anybody knows I have not been on Facebook a lot. Social media, we're sucked into that. Like, we're in this whole virtual world that's like controlling our lives. It doesn't even exist. It's not even real. But it's very real. It's impacting us every day. It impacts the economy. Look at the Reddit guys. With Wall Street. There's all these things that are happening in this virtual world, like this whole thing we've constructed, the internet and everything. And it's great. It's great. I can talk to people all over the world with this show. Not that I am, but I can in theory. Technology is great there, but we're getting so sucked into it that it's its own new materialism. It's its own new. We've lost focus. I'm afraid materialism is going to be even worse.
Well said. The message is stop looking too much down on our iPhones and looking up into the skies. Right. From where we came. From where we came from the skies. We can't be bogged down by terrestrial technology. And so the cosmic masters of the solar system are very, very spiritual beings, and they've mentioned that things like politics and politicians have never worked because no politics or political party has brought any lasting peace on this planet. No military or dictatorship has ever brought any lasting peace. Even the Orthodox religions have caused more deaths by fighting against one belief against another. And of course, the economic system is just, they mention it as a cancer in the heart of spiritual man because it makes us slaves to the system.
Right.
And so, what do we as a race have to do to break free from this? Is to delve within ourselves and explore who we are as human beings, and we're not supposed to be living like this. My master said that one of the only reason that we are on this planet, he didn't say there's two reasons. He says there's only one reason we're on this planet, and that the planet has given us a space refuge, is to raise our consciousness. To go within us and raise our consciousness to the point where we can become the gods that we used to be. And by raising our consciousness, we can send out energies of a high spiritual level and raise the consciousness of not only the planet, but the consciousness of every live stream. It's been said that if somebody kills somebody, it brings down the whole race, one level. And if somebody raises and saves the life of somebody, it raises the level. So what we need to do as a collective is to realize that, and again, that made him very unpopular when he said in the 60s that, we as a race, we're just as close to the communist Chinese as we are to our own children, and people didn't like that. But that is the reality. The cosmic masters don't. I mean, I don't like to be. I don't like
care
the
about
idea
our
that
isms.
Exactly. I don't like the idea that I'm just as close to a terrorist than I am, to my brothers and sisters. But that's the reality. They address us as terrestrial man. They don't address us as Chinese, Japanese, or, Americans or Russians. And so that collective, that change, that spiritual awakening that's been demanded not only by the raising of our goddess Mother Earth, but also the Aquarian Age, is demanding a collective consciousness that realize that we are one race, and we are not, we're world citizens, and politicians and even religious factions don't like that idea.
They want to divide us, and they're doing a great job of it. At least in this country, they're doing a great job of it, because we can't agree on nothing anymore. It seems like anything at all. Everything's got to be an argument now. And yeah, there's the division continues, and that's why I say I hate both sides. I hate the politics. If you believe a politician or pseudo politician is going to save us from anything, you're sorely mistaken.
Absolutely. And so another thing, again, that people need to realize, another aspect of what's happening is that there's also an invisible war that's going on right now, as we speak. There's a war. There's an energy war between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. And the forces of darkness, they again, Dr. King not only projected to the higher realms, he also projected to the lower realms. So there's, a lot of these, a lot of these mass murderers and dictators and all that, when they die, they go to the lower realms. They don't just suddenly disappear, and they the evil down there is just as bad, if not worse than some of the evil that's on this plane. And so the forces of darkness on these lower astral realms, they don't live on food and water. They live on vibrations. So they're actually they're realizing now with the Mother Earth raising her vibrations that their time is up, because using certain degrees of magic in these lower realms, they've staved off reincarnation coming back onto the physical realms for hundreds of thousands of years. And so they're very, very powerful demonic forces.
We're going to hang it there because we're already running late on our commercial break. And I want to get into that more because that's really fascinating. I mean, what you're getting in here is concepts that run in other religions and philosophies. You want to talk about hell or whatever, but we got to run to a commercial break, and we'll pick up where we left off here. And we will open up the phone lines, guys, when we come back. So if you have a question for our guests, call in. Just remember, if I hang up with you, I only got the one phone line tonight, 219-230-4444, the Skype ID OOJBland00, because I have our guest on the other line. So if I hang up on you, it's because I got somebody else online. Just try calling back when I'm done with that call. All right, guys, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope.
That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to the Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Tired of school?
Who was Joan of Arc?
Noah's wife? Like to travel?
Let's go back into history. Let's reach out and touch someone.
Want to meet people in the past?
Put them in the Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden? Excellent! Execute them. Oh, yes.
Then hitch a ride with George Carlin, Keanu Reeves, and Alex Winter in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure from Orion Pictures.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time. Like tears in rain. Time to die.
Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419. Or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest is Wajid Hassan, author of The Struggle for World Sanity. Like I said, we are struggling for world sanity right now. For the phone lines, it is just the 219-230-4444 line or the Skype ID OOJBland, which I'm opening up right now. You can call in. The other two lines are down tonight because we have our guest on that line. But just remember, if you call in, just wait till we call on you. I'll usually call out your name if it's Skype or area code if you're on phone. Or if I hang up on you, just remember it might be somebody else on the line. But we are taking your calls. Does the story of the beginning of the universe, or not universe, but the story of humanity, Maldek, does that, if you've never heard it before, did it ring true or resonate with you? Because that's how it felt for me when I first read this years ago in a book. Just reach out to your like ancient past life knowledge or touch some kind of chord. That's what I felt about it for me, because I never heard the story before. When I first read it, I wish I remember the book. It resonated with me. I feel these things are ingrained in us. Like this struggle for world sanity goes back to all of our past lives. It's all deep in us. This division, everything happening is something karmic, and that's why I love talking to Wajid about this tonight. But you can call in, join the conversation, but let's get back to our guest. Thank you for staying with us, Wajid. Now, we were talking when we left about the kind of the dark forces, the dark side of this. Because it does feel like there has to be, for all these things to be happening in the world, there has to be, it's not that we're looking for somebody to blame. It's us. It's the dark side, still us. But there's some kind of organized dark side force or something manipulating things behind the scenes, like you said, like a secret war.
Yeah. But before I go into that, I just something else I wanted to let your listeners know that convinced me that my master was in contact with the beings who manned the flying saucers. Back in the 50s, they would actually predict sightings that would occur in places like Australia, New Zealand, America, 3 weeks. Listen to this, Jason. 3 weeks before these sightings would occur. And so sure enough, on those dates that they specified that there would be sightings, sure enough, those sightings occurred. And listen to this, they had to stop this because what happened was when these sightings were being predicted, the military would scramble aircraft to attack these flying saucers. So again, that just goes to show our mentality on planet Earth about something that we don't understand. The first thing we try to do is to blow it up, instead of looking at it as something.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
That just seems to be the way the military works, at least on it. I mean, it's like, what is that? I'll shoot at it. We do got somebody on the line already, and I already see that my phone line's blowing up. See, I got to hang up on somebody here. Are you ready to take a phone call?
ready for anything. Absolutely.
All right.
Yes.
I know, Marcus, if you're listening, I know you're trying to call in. I got one person on the line. Just hang in there, buddy. We got Zach, beat you to it. We got Zach on the line. How you doing tonight, Zach?
I'm doing pretty good, bro. How you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for calling in.
Hey,
All
Zach.
right, so I have two questions, so I'll keep them nice and short and brief. Hey, Wajid, very nice to meet you. Love hearing everything that you're saying so far. So my first question is that you mentioned the cosmic masters. My question to you is, where does God fit into that equation?
Okay, and your second question?
My second question is really, for the cosmic masters, they really have a definite understanding of like the origin of Earth and how it came to be and how we as a human race got to be where we are. So why were, in your opinion, based on your observations and your interactions, why would they allow all these different type of religions and viewpoints over to exist when they really know the truth? And why and how are they trying to really perpetuate the truth out to everyone?
Okay, Zach, those are two excellent questions, and I'm glad you asked them. Where does God come into the picture? The yogis talk about the outbreathing of God and the inbreathing of God in their philosophies. Science have talked about the Big Bang, where the universe expanded. I would be more inclined to listen to the yogi masters, because what the yogi masters say today, scientists find out maybe 500 to 6,000 years later. But what happened billions and billions of years ago? You see, our religions of the world right now, they're very young, and they're only a few thousand years old. So, the philosophies that they propound, pretty much they're all the same. But coming back to God, for some reason, the divine or the absolute decided to expand or involve itself into matter. Now, why it did this? There doesn't seem to be an answer, but what happened was billions and trillions of life streams were involved into matter, and part of that was, of course, the human race, and now what we have is what the yogis call the inbreathing, where each entity that was sent out is slowly coming back out of matter and being spiritualized and going back to the divine. So if you put God into the picture, I would call God the absolute, or the universe that is slowly now bringing all particles of itself back into itself, back in, and of course this is going to take hundreds, if not billions, of years to happen. But some live streams evolved much quicker, and so we're all parts of this divine. Within each of us is part of that divine essence, which is part of the universe, and that's why we're all created as one. If you look at it on just on the divine aspect, but we're all have different forms of evolution, again based on our previous lives and our experiences. So we're all going back to the divine principle, what we can call God, and my master wrote a wonderful book called The Nine Freedoms. You can get that on Amazon, which again the cosmic masters clearly outlined our evolutionary pattern going back to the divine principle. So that's a great book you can read if you want to learn more about our evolutionary cycle on this planet. And then another book that came, you're talking about the world religions. Three of the major world religions were formed by interplanetary cosmic masters. It's been said that the Lord Krishna was from the planet Saturn, on the higher realms of planet Saturn. That's what the cosmic masters have said, and that the Lord Buddha was actually from Venus. When the Lord Buddha was born, the 5 disc-shaped objects were seen above the skies the palace when he was born, and when he died, 5 disc-shaped objects were seen above the skies. And another interplanetary master that was introduced to Earth was, of course, the Master Jesus. And again, he, when he was born, people talk about the Star of Bethlehem. The Star of Bethlehem was actually an interplanetary craft from Saturn that did the essential manipulations in order for a Venusian like the Master Jesus to incarnate as a terrestrial individual. And if you look at the teachings of the founders of these great religions, they all go back to the basics of what we need to do. Love each other, pray, and it's been said again. You talk about politics. I mean, it's been said that one of the greatest political speeches ever made was the Sermon on the Mount. And if people listen more to that, about how we can get into loving each other, stopping war, healing each other, that's what these cosmic masters were introduced especially to Earth to tell mankind this is the way back. So again, these truths will be revealed in the future as truths, because as we evolve, we will recognize. I mean, people like these were such exceptional people that it was pretty impossible to recognize them as terrestrial beings. Now, coming back to the cosmic masters, what Dr. King said, that in the near future, when things are going to get really bad, there will be another cosmic master that will come on planet Earth. He said that it was the next master that is coming, and he won't be steeped in mystery like Jesus, Buddha, or Krishna were, but he will come openly among men, and he will actually land on Earth in a flying saucer, and he will openly declare himself. He will be about 7 foot tall, a humanoid in a silver suit, and he will approach the Earth leaders, and they will ask his credentials when he does land, and he will produce these credentials. And one thing that he will produce is that it's been said that his powers are going to be so tremendous that it will be greater than the combined military might of all the armies of the world. This is the kind of being that people talk about, the next Messiah is coming. This is what the cosmic masters have said will, not might, will happen in the future. Now, he will not come as a dictator. He will come as a cosmic spiritual being. He will not kill anybody, but he will demonstrate his powers, just like Moses of old. One thing that he said that he may possibly do is by telekinesis move the Statue of Liberty from New York to the other side of California, just to show some of his tremendous powers. And he will tell the Earth leaders, and he will tell mankind, either you change on a spiritual level, or again, not through any kind of malicious way, that he will only through death and then you will be reincarnated onto this planet X on the other side of the solar system. And this is actually going to happen. And so this is the hope for us. This is so when we look around us and find out that all this horrible stuff is happening, and again I'll explain why this is happening, because of this invisible war. After I've answered your question, this is the essence of what I believe is God, and what the cosmic masters have done for us in the past.
The other thing aside of that is I'm a big Star Trek fan. Is I believe aliens have to have some kind of prime directive to allow them to keep us to have free will. That's the main reason they can't just come down and say, hey, this is the truth for sure. At least at some point, you're saying they will, but I'm guessing that right now they have like some kind of prime directive that keeps them from doing that.
Because these cosmic masters are so spiritually evolved, we have to go to them. Right. They can't come to us. So they're divine beings. They're more closer to God than we are, or the divine principle. Whatever you may call it, Allah, Buddha, whatever, Jehovah, they're more closer to the divine principle. So in order for them to approach us, we have to approach them. It doesn't work the other way around. And once we reach a certain stage of evolution, it will be the right time for the next cosmic master to come and lead the people of Earth. If they suddenly landed en masse, and fixed everything, would be left on the wayside of experience. How could we evolve and have that experience of raising our consciousness ourselves without, there's been outside divine intervention through the years by these cosmic masters, by introducing these interplanetary masters such as, Patanjali, Lao Tse, and again, Jesus, Krishna, Buddha. And so, they've made their moves, but they haven't been openly. But they will eventually be open moves.
Well, thank you, Zach, for calling in. I got the phone lines blowing up right now. I think, Ziriana, you're trying to call in. Marcus is trying to call in. So just hold on, guys. I only got the one line tonight. Well, thank you, Zach, for calling in.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Wajid, for answering my questions. I greatly appreciate it, man. Have a good night, everybody.
You too, bud.
Thanks, Zach.
But that's what I feel like they have to, at least for right now, until they have this planned intervention, I guess you could call it, there is some kind of prime directive that they can't. I mean, in Star Trek, the Vulcans didn't get involved until, I know I'm trekking out, but Vulcans didn't get involved until, I don't know why it's not picking up on the other line, until, here's Marcus, until man reached warp speed, because now man's going to be out in space mucking about, so then they had to make contact. Is it going to be something like that we have to reach out, or?
Well, the cosmic masters in one transmission said, you're asking us for a sign. How about you give us a sign? Why don't you show us a sign by cooperating together, by creating peace, and then we'll show you a sign. We'll openly land. There was a transmission that said we would love to land openly in Central Park, New York, and openly declare ourselves, but we can't right now because you're not allowing us to come in. So we have to raise our vibrations to them. Once we raise our vibrations to them, then karmically they will be allowed to intervene on our behalf.
Well, we got another caller here. We got Marcus on the line. How you doing tonight, Marcus?
Doing very well, sir. How are you?
Doing good. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, don't make it too long because I got other people trying to call in, Marcus, and we're going to run out of time here quick.
I'll do it as quick as I can. Master Wajid, may I ask...
Just Wajid.
Wajid, thank you. Makes life a lot simpler. Simple things for simple minds, I always say. The quandary I'm in is, with at least layman's education in science, I've been taught that the lifespan of our solar system is perhaps 1 billion years to 5 billion years. The sun will go nova, the earth will be consumed, and that's it. The planet is done. However, what happens to the many souls that are in transition now, either temporarily occupying a place on Earth or doomed to abandon Earth or be expelled from Earth when it goes nova? The possibility is that the galaxy will last for hundreds of billions of years until the very fabric of nature, protons, neutrons, electrons, fall apart, and it's no longer able to sustain matter and energy as we know it. This seems to me to be an inconsistency that needs to be understood, because when the planet's gone and the universe continues to age, where do we go then?
That's if you look at cosmic time, 1 billion years is nothing. As far as planet Earth is concerned, we've been told that yes, she did. All the planets came from our father, the sun, and they go back to the sun. In regards to planet Earth, she was born from the sun 3,000 million years ago, and then she will go back into the sun in another 3,000 million years. So as far as terrestrial time is concerned, that's a lot of time for us. We probably won't be around. Although when on like other planets like Venus and Mars and Jupiter, Saturn, they also have their cycle where they will go back into the sun. But at that time, when they do go back into the sun, I think the civilizations at that time will be so evolved as to raise themselves onto another level. But as far as we're concerned on Earth, I think the next 1,000 years are going to be very critical for us in regards to what's happening right now. So we need to focus on the next 1,000 years that's going to happen. And the next 1,000 years is going to be a wonderful but incredible renaissance that's going to occur on this planet. And no matter what the evil forces, what the politicians or the military or the economic, none of that is going to stop the great change that has already started right now, Marcus.
God willing, let's hope that we have a place to go to and then come back from when the next stage, whatever that happens to be,
and also,
for us.
Also, Marcus, you have to remember that nobody's left to be doomed. Even the lowest of low the door is always open for them to rise. So no live stream. How can any live stream be left by itself? Because we're all still part of the whole. The cosmic masters say that we're all one part of the solar system. We're all one family. We've just digressed. So they're not going to leave us alone.
That gives me hope. It really does. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, Marcus. Yeah, my philosophical thing is, I've had Zach ask tonight, where's God fit into this? I've always been agnostic. It's not that I question the existence of God, just what God is. I've always felt God's more like not a man with a white beard sitting on a throne in the clouds, more like a force or a will of life. Even love, it's an energy or a force. I don't. Maybe it's supremely conscious and has all this wisdom, but I don't see it like as something that's like has the consciousness like we do. It's something beyond that. Like I said, I'm a big Star Wars fan too, and I look at it as like the Force.
Well, I'm a believer in different types of gods that evolve onto higher, and then eventually you have the absolute, which is the universe. But my master, Dr. George King, said that the most evolved, the most godlike being that you will ever touch in your life is the ground beneath your feet. People don't even realize that we're living on this highly evolved goddess who's given us everything over the centuries, and we've just raped and not given anything back. And then if you look on the higher aspects of that, look at the mighty sun, that provides everything. If the sun was suddenly to go, we would all die. So, it wasn't by chance that the indigenous tribes and a lot of the Egyptians and the Asian Indians worship the sun as the god. And then so, you can expand that into different ways. But to me, I think the nearest thing to God to me is our Mother Earth and the sun that I can physically touch and see, and again, the God within takes a journey, that encompasses many, many lives.
I tell you what, you are resonating with somebody because you got a lot of people calling in right now. My phone, I only have the two lines and they're blowing up, so people just hang in there if you're trying to call in. I got another call, 203 area code. Who do we got? Are you there? It might. This is the one. I think this one's Aziriana, and we always had trouble with hers. It doesn't want to take her line. Are you there, Aziriana? See, I have this thing where it glitches out and wants to pick it up on my other line that you're on. Darn it. All right, Ziriana, I don't think I'm able to take your call tonight because it doesn't want to work when I have somebody else on this line. Dang it. Let's see. I can try calling her back, but it keeps wanting to pick it up on this other line. She's been trying to call in. Whoop. Let's see if it'll get her. Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see if it picks up for her. But I know everybody's trying to call in. I only got the 2 lines. But you were talking about, why we were here. Why we're at this crossroads, and how we have to get there.
Well, I was talking about the demonic forces and this
Yeah.
invisible war, and it's just as real as any physical war on this planet. And one thing that, again, these truths have been revealed to mankind, so that mankind realizes that we're pawns in the hands of a few who have enslaved us. And all these wars throughout the year, we know that thought the thought energies are real. Then if you throw a thought energy of hate to somebody, you can feel that coming from them, as well as throwing a thought of love towards somebody. And these happen on a different frequency. And so all these wars throughout the centuries have been specially engineered by the lower astral beings. Now, these lower astral beings, they're not as because the cosmic masters also introduced some specially trained interplanetary masters in the 50s and 60s that were introduced onto planet Earth to help transmute some of these evil centers of darkness in the lower astral realms. And I also believe that my master, Dr. George King, was one of these interplanetary beings, because he described through his transmissions and his own teachings what some of these lower levels look like. And these satanic forces, this will you're a science fiction buff.
Yeah.
This will really intrigue you. They're not like they don't have a pitchfork and hooves and horns. These are actually they said that the brain power on these lower astral realms, because these wars were recruited so that by the violent death of and the suffering, they could recruit the souls of people into the lower astral realms and build tremendous armies of evil there. Now, what Dr. King said is some of these lower astral realms are advanced scientifically, maybe 200 years advanced than Earth. So things like laser beam, aircraft technology, computerized artillery systems are way ahead of Earth science, and he said it was the influence of the lower astral realms that reignited the atomic bomb. And so these beings are in tremendous amount of power. Like I say, they don't live on water and food like we do, but they live on the vibrations of the suffering of mankind. They're like psychic vampires, and so that increases their power. And now with the raising of Mother Earth and the Aquarian Age, they know that their time they're going to be transmuted one way or the other and be taken to this other planet. And so what they're causing right now, all this political strife that you see, this hatred between races, this hatred between religions, all this is being orchestrated by these beings. And that's what people need to realize, that we are being impressed by evil forces right now.
It sure feels like that. I'm going to try to see if I can get Zuriana, because he keeps trying to split her phone line between my 2 different devices. Let me see.
Press 3.
Oop. Here. You there, Zuriana? Nope. I just don't think
If
it's going to...
If you're satisfied with the message,
no,
press
I'm not.
1 to listen to you.
I don't know why it's even doing that. That's weird. See it, like she tries to call in and then it picks up. Oh, well. All right. Sorry, Zuriana. I don't think we're going to be able to take your phone call tonight. It's just not wanting to work with my system for some reason. Well, you can always put your question in the chat room, Zuriana. I know you're in there. Put it in there. I will definitely put it up for to ask our guest. This, like I'm a Star Trek fan, Star Wars fan. You talk about science fiction. Like I said, I believe God's like the Force, but I also, like I said, there's like the dark side.
Right.
And I had an experience when I was 17 with what I call a shadow person. This thing was, I don't feel, I don't know, demonic, whatever. People say, oh, it's a demon. I don't know. It felt alien to me, but it fed off my misery. It tortured me for a good 4 to 5 months.
Right.
It almost drove me to the brink. So ever since then, I've been a big believer that there's forces and entities out there that are completely geared to feeding off our suffering, our fears, our anger,
Yes.
that they get energy from these things.
Absolutely. And then there's ways of combating that as well. If a force of darkness, if you show fear towards a force of darkness, it will attach itself to your aura and feed off that fear. And that's probably what happened to you. It's happened to me as well in the past, and it's happened to a lot of people. And there's certain practices that you can do these days that will help stave that off. One particular practice that was introduced by the Master Aetherius, which is a practice that has been a very guarded secret for hundreds of thousands of years, is the practice of the violet flame. And when you feel that you're being attacked mentally or psychically, what you do is you stand still, and then you just think down to the Mother Earth below the entity Mother Earth, and what you can do is visualize a violet flame coming of protection. It's like a velvet, soft, beautiful flame, and visualize that coming through you, through your house, around your children, around your environment. And this is one way that you can combat an attack by some of these lower astral entities. There was a case in England where this father taught this to his young daughter, and she learned that over the years. And she was walking down this alleyway once, and this guy jumped her in an attempt to rape her. Oh, wow. And she visualized. She was so good at visualizing the violet flame. She raised it up, and the clash of his hate energy and her energy threw this guy 12 feet away from her. That's how powerful this practice is. So for your listeners, if they feel they're under psychic attack or mental attack, or somebody's attacking them mentally,
physically, it sounded like. I mean, with the girl in England, that's a physical attack.
Exactly, and that's how physical this particular practice is of a violet flame. And another thing that you can also do is coming back again against the forces of evil and the forces of light, is bring down the light, this tangible energy, the spiritual pranic energy, that the Master Jesus used to heal people, and we can all use the same energy, and to bring that down from the cosmos through your head, over your shoulders, into your heart center, and send it out as an energy of love. And that's the only thing, because hate is not gonna transmute hate. And so what the Cosmic Masters are saying, if we're gonna win this war, which is actually happening right now,
right,
is the only way to win this war is to send out the energy of LOVE and transmute this hate.
That's what saved me. And that shadow person experience. This thing was levitating me off my bed and throwing me down.
Wow.
And the third time it picked me up, I just gave in. I said, God, this is Gnostic me, still Gnostic. I mean, I believe in God, but at that time I was totally like, oh yeah, God, whatever. But I was like, God, please help me. And I felt this warm feeling of love. That's all I can say. Come over me, like I'm not alone. And this bright flashlight hit in my room, and this thing disappeared, and actually saw somebody, it might have been a past relative, walk in my room and give me a look like, you screwed up, but I'm fixing this. But I felt the main feeling I felt, the moment I felt the presence I feel of God or whatever, was just love. Like, I'm here for you, and it's all right. And this thing was gone.
That's amazing.
But every time I fed it anger, like before all this, when I would struggle with this thing, I would get angry and like, I'm going to beat you, you can't get me. And I'm like, getting angry with it just laugh at me. It's when I gave in to God. Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what the Cosmic Masters are offering us right now as well from their spacecraft. Again, this is something that, in Dr. King, there's a particular spacecraft that comes into orbit around different times around the planet, which the Cosmic Masters have termed as as magnetization periods or spiritual pushes, and we can cooperate with this spacecraft. It's a spacecraft by the name, it's called Satellite Number 3, and in the Nine Freedoms, the master actually projected to this spacecraft and met and was greeted by the cosmic masters who manned this spacecraft. And one thing that the cosmic masters are doing now, you mentioned, we mentioned bringing in the energy of LOVE. Now, on this particular, the spacecraft is about a mile and a half long, has about 200 plus cosmic masters that man very advanced scientific radionic computer systems on this spacecraft. And one thing that was a transmission that came through Dr. King was the controller of this particular spacecraft is a being by the name, it's a pseudonym of this being, this cosmic master by the name of Mars Sector 6. And what he said was, on this spacecraft, this is just going to blow. It blew my mind, but it's going to blow the minds of your listeners. But stay open-minded. But they have a complete dossier on their computer systems of every live stream. We're talking about humanoid, animal, plant, rock, of every live stream on this planet. They have a dossier of they have a complete dossier of every live stream that resided on planet Earth in the past, that is actually residing on planet Earth now, and that will reside on planet Earth in the future. So they have, if you just look at basic terrestrial science right now with a GPS, global positioning satellite, and somebody with a cell phone, you can pinpoint anybody on the planet right now. So that's just basic terrestrial science. Now, if you look at that on a scientific level that's millions of years ahead of us, they have a complete pinpoint of each vibrational sequence of every live stream on this planet. And why do they have that? So that when they come into magnetization period, we as a terrestrial race, we can contact these cosmic masters. They said that the speed of thought through free space is 4 million times the speed of light. So by us mentally requesting this energy, the radionic computer systems can pinpoint our mental request and individually or collectively beam down spiritual energy to us during this magnetization period. I will even go as far ahead that, that we can think of the masters on in the solar system. It's been said that Saturn is the highest, most evolved planet in the solar system and has the most evolved masters. But we can think of these masters, and instantaneously, this would be a proof to anybody that these cosmic masters exist, is just send out this beam of request of energy, and that energy will be beamed down to us because they have complete control. They have mental, they can mentally tune in to every live stream on this planet. That's how advanced they are. So what they're saying is to combat this invisible war that's going on, is to tune in to satellite number 3 when it comes into magnetization period of Earth, and energies not might, but will be beamed down to you, and you can send those out to help transmute the darkness.
You mentioned, talk about radionics. We've had some guests on here before that talked about radionics. Isn't it? It's kind of like the some I think described it as like the wishing machine, or like a machine to like focus your thoughts or will.
Well, radionics is the science of just like electronics is the science of electricity and the movement of electricity through various instrumentations. Radionics is the science of the flow of subtle energies, higher energies, pranic energies through radionic systems, and so their AI or the radionics computer systems on their spacecraft are so. It's been said that they said that they're beyond the imaginations of any one of us. So we can't even imagine the complexity of such advanced equipment, and yet they work for they get no pay, but they work for us 24 hours a day. All we have to do is request this energy, and that's how simple it is. Because it's so simple, we don't get it.
Yeah. Well, it's intent and giving permission, I guess. I mean, because like this, I felt like saved me is I had to give permission for somebody to help me in the situation I had with the shadow person, or whatever that
Well,
was.
you see, in that situation, you opened yourself up and asked and requested, and like that's how the karmic law works. Is that they can't intervene unless we go up. They can't come down to us. We have to go up to them. And by you requesting that, you were given, help came to you, and help transmute or get rid of this entity that was clinging onto your aura, and I think that's a wonderful way of proving to your listeners that this thing works. But we have to make the effort. Now, will we get a message from them? Probably not. It's been said that even the satellite, their technology, they rotate the light photons around the spacecraft, so it's actually invisible to the naked eye. So because they don't want radar particles bombarding that with their complex manipulations that they do on behalf of mankind. So this is the media talks about the so-called reality of what's happening. This is the actual reality that people have not been told about, that this is just as real as anything, and this is actually happening right now. And the only the proof, they say the proof is in the pudding, is all we. I belong to a group of people who there's about 50 plus. They're in 50 plus countries, and we have every day we get together and we send out this light using the 12 blessings, which is a teachings that was given through our master by the Master Jesus, and we come together through different countries and we pump out this light to help. Help with COVID, help with wars, and if people are interested in joining us, it's a spiritual group that I belong to. They can go to 12blessings.org, which is the number 12 blessings.org, and get information. And if we come together on a collective level and send this power out, it's more powerful than if we just did it on our own. Working from home.
I have people. I want to just interrupt for 1 second. Tell people that are, you're probably going to get them.
Cut in for a moment?
Let me say something really quick. I got people trying to call in. I think the phone line's not working because it won't let me pick up. It keeps wanting to pick up on the line I got our guest on. So if you want to call in, I guess the only way right now is the Skype ID OOJBland00. If you have Skype, you can call in that way. But I'm just to say the phone line's not working. All right, go ahead, Jamie.
Yeah, Azariana and Lara was trying to call in. Azariana had a question.
Yeah, go.
She wanted to ask, how many chances are we going to get before they give up on us? And where will the ones who are trying to help and higher vibrations go to?
They will never give up on us. Even the ones that will go to the other planet, they won't give up on us. They will stay because, we're all connected as one family. The solar system is all connected as one family. So even the ones that go to the other planet will not be left. There will still be divine intervention on their behalf to help them raise their vibration. So nobody's going to be left behind, no matter what happens. And they will never give up. I don't understand this divine patience that the evolved beings of this cosmic stature should have such compassion. But they've said that they have a great regard for us. They have a great love for us, and they just want to see us back to where we used to be, and be part of the cosmic family.
Did you have any other? Did Laura have a question? Sharon, I see JL. You said you're trying to call in again. The phone line it's not working. I'm gonna have to figure out something. I had to reset up my whole system last Sunday, so it's not working right with the phone line. So Skype ID OOJBLANDOO. If you can call in on Skype, I can take your call, but I don't think the 219-230-4444 is working. I'll have to figure that out for next Sunday. Sorry, guys. Still working out the bugs after rebuilding everything.
Huh?
You
want me to try my line?
Yeah, go ahead and give out the number.
Okay. Yeah, pull it up here first. Go ahead, and I'll be doing it.
Okay, all right. But yeah, this is the other we haven't got into. We're going to be going up our commercial break too. Is I think I remember you're talking about aliens and UFOs. I've had one major. I've had a few alien things happen in my time, but one I have no doubt about, a UFO I saw when you talked about the ship being like a mile long. I saw a huge ship once, like huge. With 4 other people. It flew right over heads, no lights on it, totally rectangular, just silently floated through the air. If I remember right, you had your own UFO sighting, right, too?
I've had a number of UFO sightings. One which was very personal to me, and it's described in my book, and it was a very spiritual experience. It happened when I was 18 years old, and I've never revealed it before, but I felt that I needed to reveal some of my mystical and UFO experiences so that other people can realize that these things are real. And it's explained in the book, but what happened was I actually had a UFO hover over me and send a tremendous amount of spiritual energy through me, and I was completely immersed it was just something that was so personal and so spiritual. I couldn't describe it, and I never told anybody over the years because it was so personal. But I put it in my book because I want to inspire people to let them know that we are not alone and that we are loved, and no matter what, eventually good will overcome evil. Always has done. Look through history. All the dictators have fallen, but they've left a tremendous amount of destruction in their fall.
Oh, yeah.
And terrible, terrible destruction. But there is a renaissance, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in 10 years. It may not even happen in 100 years, but it will happen. And there is a glorious future that has been planned for us, for planet Earth. And all we have to do is just raise our vibrations, send out love, and just raise the energies for all of us. And that's all they're asking. They're not asking much. They're just saying, raise your vibrations, help the planet, and get into a glorious future. And so, all the complexities of life that we have to go through, all that will disappear. And the new age has been foreseen. My master had a vision in deep meditation of the new age, and it's just going to be fantastic. There's going to be no wars, there'll be no borders. There's going to be no races. It's just all going to be one, and we're all going to live in harmony. And that's been foreseen. It's not might. It is what's going to happen.
It's hard to see that now, though. You can see
absolutely.
how hard that is for people to see with the way the world is now. I want that. I mean, I've heard Heather talk about this. We both have a habit of withdrawing from the world because when it's this bad, and going and watching Star Trek because it's like hope for the future. Like hopefully mankind ends up like this, that we strive for not having material things, but to better ourselves and, enjoy life and, explore the galaxy. That's like my hope. I hope we end up like that.
Well, people like you, Heather, your listeners, myself, we can't handle it because we're sensitive, caring people. And,
exactly.
And I sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. I'm like, I can't handle this. This is terrible. And it's so overwhelming if you look at it. But what I'm saying, what the Cosmic Masters are saying, and what the spiritual beings are saying is on a collective, if we just, and they're not saying en masse like 1 million people or whatever, because 1 million people right now don't get it. I mean, they even said if 300 people or more got together and started pumping out the spiritual light, that they can intervene on behalf.
That's what I wondered. I mean, how many people does it take? Because, right. I don't see 1 million people come together on anything.
No, but we have they're saying that we have a scepter of spiritual power that hasn't been given to us in our previous lives, because this is the beginning. This is the end. Somebody talk about the end of days. This is the end of the old order, and the new order will be a greater peace. So more power is being given to us now than we've ever had in our millions of lives on this planet. So they're given a cosmic promise. All we have to do is make the effort, and people are not willing to make the effort. And that's where the problem is. People are still selfish and self-centered and thinking about themselves.
Oh, tell me about it. Tell me. I was just in the drive-thru. I was telling Jamie this before the show. I was just talk about my biggest pet peeve. I don't know if I'll be driving somewhere and I'll see somebody throw trash out their window, and I'm just like, you got to be joking. I was sitting in McDonald's drive-thru, and there's two people in front of me throw their trash right out the window. I chewed them out so bad because I get so mad. It's like, seriously, how are we going to have nice things? People treat stuff like this, and you throw your garbage wherever you want to throw it. It drives me nuts. Like, we can't even get people to even not, throw their trash on the ground, let alone reach a higher vibration. I just get so overwhelmed by it, by just people. I feel like I definitely believe I'm an alien from another planet, or at least my soul has been at some point. I'm not saying I'm better than everybody else. I'm not. I'm just saying things like these, just like what I feel like I'm not a human.
Well, Jason, the difference between you and the person who threw the trash out and polluted Mother Earth was the fact that you're more aware, you're more enlightened than many people, because again, based on your own efforts that you've made, maybe in a previous life or even this life. But the Cosmic Master said that there's only one sin on this planet, and that's ignorance. It's the only sin, because if people were aware of the Mother Earth, they won't be throwing their trash on the floor. If they were aware of reincarnation, they won't kill in war. They knowing that maybe that this could have been their mother or father or brother or sister in the last life. That's one thing that they're also propounding, the Cosmic Masters, is to reintroduce the reincarnation on a global scale. Did you know that the Christian religion actually taught reincarnation?
Yes.
Till it was changed to bring the one life so that they could control.
Yeah,
so
you're
reincarnate. Yeah.
You only got one life.
This one life thing is another way of control by the religions. And so if we need to also make viral the law of reincarnation.
I totally agree. We got to go to our last commercial break, and I got a question from JL in the chat room I want to get to when we come back, so I don't want to lose that because he's been trying to call in, so I'll take his question from the chat room. But let's go to our last commercial break, guys. Again, I'm sorry. I'm still working out the bugs after everything crashed last Sunday. But the only phone line I think you can call in is if you had Skype, and I know not everybody does, is the J-Bland 00. Otherwise, I'll take your questions in the chat room. Like I got JL's here. We're going to talk. He has a question about crystals and energy healing and all that. We'll come back to that after this short commercial break.
I think I have a call.
Oh, and we got Rob's phone line too. We'll give that out again. But you got Laura on the line.
858.
Yeah, probably Laura. We'll get to her call too. All right, guys, we'll be right back.
Intercepted transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated. I don't want to hear all this.
In space, no one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDev.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now, Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
The night is alive. Join us and take a walk on the weird side when you tune in to the Kingdom of Nye, hosted by Heather Wade, the finest in late night talk. Listen live free weeknights starting at 9 p.m. Pacific time at thekingdomofnye.com, talkstreamlive.com, and the Paranormal Radio app. Wanna take a ride?
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, Egon.
Tonight, we've been talking to our guest, Wajid Hassan. He's the author of The Struggle for World Sanity. We've gotten a lot of... I remember before the show tonight, I had several of the fans ask, what's the topic tonight? I'm like, everything! Because I figured we'd probably get into a lot of different topics tonight with Wajid, and he's an amazing guest. And I'm sorry for the technical difficulties we've had tonight. At least we're on air. Unlike last Sunday, we could even go on air. But the only way I think you can call in right now is if you use Skype, and that's the JBland 00. Rob does have a phone number, but I think he's got somebody on hold. So we got one person on hold, and I got somebody who was trying to call in. I want to get to their question in the chat room. And if you do want to call in, you don't have Skype, maybe after Rob has that call, we can take another one on there. But we are going to run out of time quick because we only got a half hour left to show. So let's go ahead and get right back into it. All right, Rob, keep the person on hold. I'm going to get this because I don't want to lose this in the chat room. All right, Wajid, I have a question here from JL who was trying to call in. He says, so where do crystals, energy healing, and grounding fit into all this? Protection, survival skills, question mark?
Crystals are extremely important in energy healing, and things like the Cosmic Masters actually, on their radionics equipment use a lot of crystals. Don't ask me what they have because I won't be able to tell you. But based on the technology, yeah, crystals are tremendous use. I use a crystal pendant on my chest, on my heart center, that I use in my energy healing. So crystals play a tremendous. They actually amplify the subtle or spiritual energies.
I'm a believer in it. I mean, my wife made me a believer in it because she's always been into stones and crystals and that, and she kind of made me a believer in it years ago. Because even like holding like a stone in your hand, I can feel it. There's an energy. I can feel it. It's really interesting. All right, so Rob, do you think you got? Hopefully this works. Rob has his own phone line here. You think you got somebody on it?
We can try. I don't know.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Let me know once you think you got it.
All right. Hello, can you hear us? Hello?
No, not hearing anybody.
Hello?
Hey.
Oh.
Hi.
All right.
Yeah, it's weird when you hear silence. It's Laura Wolf. Hello,
Hey, Laura, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Jason.
Okay, good. That means you'll hear our guest.
My
Okay.
call.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, hello. First off, I'd like to give a personal shout out to a fellow professional stand-up comedian, my son, Cam Wolf. Happy 3rd anniversary in eternity. It's officially after midnight, February 1st, Central Standard Time. So happy anniversary to him. But my question is, when someone is a master ascendant, numerology 11, and has 0 karmic debt, which I've read means no more reincarnations, or they don't have to if they don't want to, is that where the mix-up is between ghosts and spirits? He's definitely a light worker, starseed, jokes to mediums, he's on the mothership. They all say he's definitely in the light, yet extremely active here, and I've only heard, versus other bereaved parents who have had readings, that he walks beside me always. And to be honest, watching me 24/7 has got to be boring.
Yeah, Laura, that's a good question. When regards to ascension, the essential lessons that we need to learn on this planet is to reach a stage where we do have 0 karmic debt, and we can reach a state of ascension. When we do reach that state of ascension, it's outlined actually in Dr. King's book, The 9 Freedoms. But when we become a master, where we do ascend, we have a choice. Either we can go to another experience cycle on a planet in the solar system, or we can choose to stay on Earth and join the spiritual hierarchy of Earth, which is known as the Great White Brotherhood. The white, not referring to any race, but the white referring to light. And a lot of the masters that have had the zero karmic debt and have reached that stage of ascension have decided to forego their evolutionary cycle and stay on this planet. And so the spiritual hierarchy of Earth are a group of ascended masters who live in retreats on different under different mountains. Mount Shasta is one of them. Mount Kilimanjaro, Castle Peak, the Andes, the Himalayas.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. During readings, he's always on top of a mountain.
Right, and so
where it is,
they
seen it.
Yeah, they have these. They live beneath these retreats, and they're also part of the of this invisible war that's going on. They're actually holding the light for us right now. If these people were to leave, this planet would just we would totally collapse. So they're actually holding the karmic balance, and they're actually holding at bay these demonic forces from taking over our planet. So that's a good question.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Laura,
You're
for
welcome.
calling in.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, the hope is that there's somebody at the end of the tunnel that's watching out for us. You know, you say that no one's left behind. I've always said, even from my youngest age, when I would question what God was or whatever, I always say, and as a parent now especially, I feel this, is like, if you have a child, I don't care. I mean, for example, it's a horrible example, but it really fits the bill of this, is, you know, look at Jeffrey Dahmer's parents. They didn't stop loving him. If you would watch the interviews, they didn't stop loving him. They cared about him. The father tried to wonder why things happened the way, even admitted to his own feelings as a teenager. Like, you could feel I mean, I know there's plenty of parents that have walked away from. My own biological father didn't give a crap about me, but when you really are a parent and love your child, they could be a serial killer, and you're still going to try to find the good in them. You're going to still try to be there to help them. Not every parent, but a lot. That's that kind of love. It's like it's nameless.
Well, that's what the cosmic masters have said. They said that, you know, that these spiritual energies are not transmitted to anybody who's just saintly or being saintly. They said, like, even if you're a mass murderer in the lowest realms, if you make a decision to help another individual, these energies are actually not only pinpointed to people on the physical level, but on the lower levels and the higher levels as well. So even the most evil, if he does something good for somebody, will be sent at this energy. So you're right, nobody's left behind.
It also, you know, that's the beauty of reincarnation. You talk about the importance of, you know, how the world would be different if we accepted this idea, totally accept the idea of reincarnation. I thought that too, because I mean, especially if you could get a glimpse into your past lives, you'd find out you were a murderer. You were guilty of all the sins you're mad at other people for. So we're all been guilty. Like, we're all sinners. Would make sense then, you know.
Well, the good thing about the law of reincarnation is that when we reincarnate, you know, generally we don't remember our past lives, and there's a good reason. You know, it's bad enough. You know, it's bad enough going through what we've been through already in our
life's
present
complicated
life.
enough.
Then trying to so I'm not in the belief of people going into past lives and trying to fix things in their past lives. I mean, we're exactly.
We don't want
in
to
the
get caught up
position
in that drama. We got enough of our own, right?
No, it would actually cause more emotional damage mentally. So we are exactly in the position that we are now, based on our past, and we just have to focus. The master did say that eventually, when you become an adept, you'll be able to look back at your past lives, but you can look back at them, you know, in a way that you can experience it
when
without
you're ready
going
for
back.
it.
When you're ready for it, exactly.
Well, it's like that's why I wondered about the two dreams I had. You know, I didn't ask for that. It wasn't like I said, let me see a past life. They just happened. But I felt they had to have happened for a reason. I was shown those two past lives, and I'm sure I've had plenty more. for a reason. You know, like I've
Yes.
actually had past life regression by Chris Lee, who we're going to have on with his wife Debbie Anderson, again, plug. And I saw, you know, I went through it's like a guided meditation in a way. I mean, I saw some things and, you know, all that, but it was nowhere near as real as those two dreams, or as emotional as those two dreams. And like I said, it gave me such insight, if they're real, and I really do believe in my soul they are, to who I am, like who I am deep down.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I think it's a case of just focusing on this life right now, and the opportunities. What I want to let your listeners know, that we are being given greater opportunities to evolve.
Nope, that was an accident. Sorry.
We're given more opportunity now to evolve ourselves spiritually than we've had in the past, in millions of our past lives, because these are critical times right now, which we know they're just very, very. These are very dangerous times as well. You know, we could if we don't watch it, we could end up in a nuclear war. And that's what the dark forces are trying to do. They're trying to create a nuclear holocaust. They're trying to.
There's other bad things. I mean, that's nuclear holocaust is just one of your doomsday lists. We did a whole show on doomsday scenarios. I mean, like that my generation at least was raised in all these doomsday scenarios with the Nostradamus specials and that. But I mean, look, you got countries like China trying to weaponize DNA, like to use DNA to make a strategic virus to knock out a whole population of just certain people. You know, I mean. Oh, well, that sounds just great. You know, we got AI, and technology. You talked about Maldek having all these nice AI that took care of things. Well, I've seen enough Terminator where I can see that can turn out bad. You know, we have all these things, all these different ways we can just destroy ourselves coming.
And what the Cosmic Master is saying is there's only one solution to that, is to transmute it with the radiation of the energy of LOVE. So that's the solution to all the problems. Back in the 70s, when they had the oil crisis, so-called, which was engineered by the few anyway, but at that time, Dr. King said he says there's only one energy crisis on this earth, and that's the spiritual energy crisis. He says if you solve that crisis, all other crises between countries and even in your personal life will automatically be resolved. And you talk about famine and starvation. There's a spiritual famine on this planet right now. The souls of us are starved of spiritual energy. We're focused on the material, we're focused on the physical, but we're not focused on the spiritual. And our auras and our psychic senses are being ossified, so we can't receive the higher inspirations. And so by tuning into the higher vibrations and the love energy, we can also raise ourselves. It's another way of evolving ourselves in a very balanced way. So there's action and reaction is opposite and equals. So whatever energy that we send out, bad or good, it all comes back. So if we send out the white light of healing and love, it comes back to us tenfold. And it just it's the benefit, it's the nice aspect of the so-called vicious cycle. It reverts itself, and we can revolve ourselves by doing that.
The other thing I was talking about, I told you about my drive-through incident with the litterer. That same day, here I am getting this whole negative vibe, because of this person. It just put me in a bad state. And I was on my break at work, and right after I left that drive-thru, I'm sitting in the parking lot eating, and there's a guy next to me. And he asked me a question about something in the mall that I work at, and I answer. He goes, "Hey, can I pray for you?" And I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, can I pray for you? Or do you need family you need prayed for?" I go, "Actually, I do, because recently we've been going through really close friends of our family's 5-year-old son had an accident and put him in severe danger, his life severely in danger. We got good news today, but that day it was real bad. It was probably why I went Captain Planet on some people in a drive-thru at McDonald's. But this guy asked to pray for it, and I felt like, and I said, yeah, and I showed him, I said, yeah, you can pray for this little boy. And he did right there. And it changed my whole mood, and I felt like it was a sign, like it's that force. Like, so I describe God as a force or a will to remind me there is good in this world. Like, it was like so synchronistic. It's like, here I am, like, oh, human race just deserves what it gets when I see this person throwing this littering in the yard. And then 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, another person convinces me otherwise. Like, it's like a message.
Yeah, and it is a state of mind, and so a state of mind can be changed from evil to good by raising that consciousness, and that person praying for you and for you and for that child, help raise your consciousness as well. Yeah, that's a beautiful story. That was really good.
But that's the signs I look for. I don't feel like other people do. Like, I feel I'm weird because I look for these signs. I see things. I see synchronicities. I look for all these little pieces that fit together. Like I said, I call it a force or a will that pushes in a good direction.
See, the media has been specially designed. It's owned by 6 corporations, and if it bleeds, it leads.
Yep.
And so they, if you constantly bombard the masses with all this bad news, eventually they'll become fearful, and once they become fearful, you have total control of them. That's what's happening right now. They don't talk about all the good things that are happening, and your example is one of the good things that are happening. There's thousands and thousands of good things that are occurring around the world, which the media does not talk about, and they need to focus on the good things that are happening and not the bad things. And that'll be a sign of the times when good things are being reported instead of things that are blown out of proportion. And so a little incident is blown out of proportion. A racial incident or a religious incident is blown out of proportion, and it affects the whole world.
Yeah, they're like the guys. They're like the people on the sidelines when two people are arguing. They're like pushing them in to fight each other.
Yes.
That's what they are.
Yeah.
It's just what the media is. And I try to explain this to my mom, who's like saying my dad like the news, and he's just screaming at the TV. I'm like, just shut it off, because that's what I do. I just shut all that stuff off. I don't want to even see social media, because I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not putting myself. If I can't control it, then screw it. I'm like, they can shut up.
Yeah. The only thing I can control is what I send out.
Exactly.
I can't, and we, but I mean, talk about, controlling things. I mean, like, just if you look at the weather, we used to control the weather on Maldek. The weather is also a result of our own bad vibrations going out, because we send energy out to the nature forces. And things like, tsunamis, earthquakes, tidal waves, cyclones, we're all responsible for the weather. And if you look at the, indigenous tribes, they knew about how to send energy, like the American Indians could do metaphysical, dance that could actually send out energies to the nature spirits and cause rain. And so that's another aspect of why mankind as a whole has to control these thoughts of hate and jealousies and spite. One thing that will certainly happen is that the weather conditions would actually change. And another thing also with the vibration of Mother Earth is that the ice caps are actually melting. It's got nothing to do with global warming. There's carbon emission is just a small aspect of global warming. This is the ionosphere coming down. This is the cosmic rays intensifying, and this is actually very beneficial for the Mother Earth. And so that's another reason why eventually we've been told that the 4 seasons will eventually become one. There'll be an ambient temperature like we have in Hawaii, some of the islands in Hawaii.
That would be awesome, because I hate snow, and I live in Michigan City, Indiana. Right now we're getting bombarded. Not as bad as other places,
and that's another aspect of the new age. It's going to be very, very beautiful weather conditions. And so we as a race, like those fires they had in 2019, there was only one political person running for political office, Marianne Williamson, who said, pray for tornado, and they laughed her off.
Yep. Yeah.
But if like those fires in Australia and California, if the media would have said everybody send out love energy to the nature spirits, those fires would have gone out. And so, these things are natural laws which we've lost contact with, because we've been molded into materialism. These things need to come back now. We need to go back to the natural laws.
Like when you talk about the power of human consciousness, that's why I feel like the media is the way it is because it is the dark side. It's trying to trigger people and control them. Because if you know, the deep secret is that human consciousness put together, it can change reality, control the weather, it's a huge, powerful force. And if you control the media, you have a very powerful instrument to try to control that consciousness and what happens with it. So it'll give you a lot of motive, if you're the dark side, to trigger people. And that's all I see the news anymore do, is just to trigger you emotionally in a bad way.
Sometimes it's better just to turn off the media and send out the light. That's probably it's probably more beneficial than watching the media, because it's so upsetting, some of the things you see, and it's daily, so it never stops. Yeah. And now media, news is 24 hours, and it can be flashed around the world to everybody. And so but it's not gonna, that is gonna go down the road, and it's going to probably get worse before it gets better. But I want to let your listeners know that there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And all we have to do is just keep sending out the love energy, cooperate with the cosmic masters. That's all, one of the transmissions was flying saucers are real, flying saucers are friendly. Your government knows this. So all the governments know about, NASA knows about intelligent life. They know about UFOs. They know about the cosmic masters, but they're not going to release that to the public, because that would mean that we would be looking up in the skies and we will not be looking up at the people who control us right now. Right, well, and that's
if the aliens are there, they're not our saviors anymore. The government can't be our savior anymore.
Right, and they're not.
No,
our saviors are the cosmic masters. They're the ones who are going to save us. Well, actually, we're going to save ourselves. We have to save ourselves with the cooperation of the cosmic masters. Yeah, because that's the way the law is. We've made the mess. We have to be responsible for it.
It makes a lot of sense, and we've made a lot of messes, and it seems like we're going to make some more. I hope in my lifetime I see some positive change. That's just because I have children. That's what that's how the media gets you, is when they talk about your children. That's like what I can't help but be scared. I'm a worrywart as it is, and trying not to be, but I worry about my children and their future. I don't want to see a bunch of dark times happen, even if there's going to be good down the road. I want them to have a good life. And that's
we owe it to our children to take action.
Yeah,
we owe it to our children to take action. Absolutely, we want. Yeah, who doesn't want our children to? We don't want them to suffer as when we pass on. We want them to live a good life, and yeah, we owe it to the future generations by taking action now.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me wonder. People that have children that don't see this, like what they're doing, and like, don't you want to leave a better world for your children? And I'm not trying to be, like I said, like Captain Planet here, like let's the environment, all this stuff. No, I'm just saying, spiritually, don't you want to improve things for your children? And I see, if I turn on the media and I see that, I see little hope. That's the problem. That's why I've been shutting it out.
Well, that's why I'm here, and to let you know that this is the reality of the situation. It's not very good, but there's a glorious future that lies ahead, and it will. It's not might. It will happen, no matter how dark it apparently it seems. But it will. There will be a light. There will be it's always dark before the dawn, and the smallest light always shines in the darkness. So I want to give your listeners hope that just keep on, and it doesn't matter even if you believe in God or not. Just send out the spiritual light. It's got nothing to do with religion or cults or anything like that.
No,
all they're saying, just send out the light, send out the love energy, and raise the planet.
I've been preaching this on the show probably for a few years now, as my Thich Nhat Hanh peace is every step. If you want peace, you got to take the steps for it yourself. That's all you can do is what you choose to do. You know, if you want peace, then you have to choose peace. You have to make the steps and the practice towards it. You have to give out what you're asking for.
And it's not easy. It's
No.
not easy. It requires effort, and people are not willing to make the effort. But if you make the effort, it's well worth it.
Definitely. Now, do you have any, before we end the show, any last like advice for people, like when it comes to like just simple meditation, or you know, they, you know, something, a practice they can do or to help them, you know, raise their vibration or help them spiritually?
Yeah, all they have to do is to raise their hands. One thing that you can do as a proof of this energy is go in front of a mirror, raise your hands, and send a beam of light from your hands to the psychic centers of your hands, and you can feel this tingling coming back at you. That's proof that this energy is real. And so what you can do is use the practice that I told you about, the violet flame, for your protection and helping raise the vibrations of the planet by using the violet flame. And the other one is to request the white light to come through your brain cells, charging your brain cells over your shoulder, and send it out as a beam, 3 beams of light from the palms of your hand and the heart center, which is the psychic center, 6 inches in front of the breastbone, and just send out that light. Use any prayer that you want. You can go on, like I said, to the spiritual group I belong to, if you want to cooperate with the cosmic masters and send out the light. But it can be done in your own individual way, in your own prayers, and for your family, for your town, for your country, and for the whole world. And just send out the light. That's the solution. Now,
you before the show said you had a prayer you could do, or everybody could come together on, for my friend's kid Julian. That's
yeah. So if the listeners can just raise their hands and again visualize the violet flame coming up, and then the white. Do you have Julian's full name?
I don't want to say it on air. I'll just say Julian.
Okay, so, is it your nephew or?
He is a family friend. He's like a nephew, but not blood related. But
okay.
You know,
so I just want your listeners to just bring in the light through themselves, through the heart center, through the palms of the hand, and I ask the divine within us, and I ask the divine above us to send a stream of beautiful healing energy to your child Julian at this time, that he may be filled with strength, healing, power, inspiration, that he may overcome his weakness at this time, that his physical, mental, and spiritual bodies be filled with light and strength now. It is done. Thank you.
Thank you.
And when you finish this practice, you can do what's called a sealing practice, where you just swipe the left hand over the right hand, and it's a form of detachment where you just have faith that the energy that we send out is going to do its job, and you just detach from it, and then continue what you need to do.
Well, again, I thank you for doing that, because all prayers are needed for Julian right now. So thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And it was a pleasure having you on the show. I'd love to have you on again. There's so much more I feel like we didn't even get to cover tonight.
Absolutely.
And we had some technical difficulties, so I know I had some people trying to call in and didn't get to, but I hope I got to the questions I could. But again, Wajid, thank you so much for being on this show, and I'd love to have you again.
Absolutely. And if people want to get the book, it's on Amazon. It's called The Struggle for World Sanity. And also, if you're interested in Dr. King's organization, you can go to the website aetherius.org. That's AETHERIUS.org.
Awesome. Again, thank you, Wajid. That's it for the shows, guy. We are going to be back next Sunday. We have returning guest Paul Wallace. We talked to him with his first book, Escaping from Eden, but he's supposedly still have a sequel for that coming out. And I think that's what we're going to be talking about next Sunday. Same bad time, same bad channel. Thanks again to everybody who shared the show out. Thanks to all our Patreon donations. That does help pay the bills. I definitely need to start saving up some money for a new computer because I'm having issues with this one. So thank you to all that donates. It does help pay the bills. Maybe it'll help fund eventually me getting a new computer. It has more memory than this one. And again, next Sunday, see you guys then. Have a great night.